That's not the worst idea.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh no, that's it. Here it is. Brendan, you can have Lev inhabit Marvin, and
Yes.
then you can run Marvin through the wizard.
Well, be like the Tin Man, maybe.
Okay.
Possess him. Yeah.
Marvin the Paranoid Android. They have him.
Here, I gotta get my pizza.
Yeah, he's on the
We
back
still
of.
have him, and he probably hasn't had dialogue in about 8 months.
He really hasn't. You guys don't talk to him very much anymore. He's on the back of Ben's character.
Has he been on Ben's back this whole fucking
Wait,
time?
no, I
Not
swear I
anymore.
left
He's a
him at the
dryad
yeah.
now.
I was gonna say I swear I left him at the tavern. Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
that's right. You left him at the tavern. He sits at the
Yeah.
bar and annoys patrons.
Excellent.
I mean, his dialogue wasn't always that useful. I mean, every now and then.
No, but it was fun.
It was fun, yes.
It depends on how you defer the term useful.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
It was useful to me to annoy you.
I mean, I feel like it might be useful at the tavern. Like, every now and then if we just have a
Definitely
patron
more
that needs to
useful
move
at the
along.
tavern. Yeah, definitely more useful at the tavern. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, Brandon, did you have a chance to look at my character sheet at all? And if not, that's totally cool.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay,
I've
no worries.
been,
Well, I
working,
did.
and I've been I'm moving out soon, and I've been coordinating that, so I totally spaced on it.
No
I
worries.
forgot about
No
it.
worries. No, not a problem.
Well, you have a life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a life. I'm sorry.
You don't just play D&D all the time.
Yeah.
24/7.
Okay.
Never
I've got
making for range.
I've got the email up, and so as soon as I finish up with what I'm doing with Lev, I will take a look at that.
Oh, no worries.
I thought we already told you, Ben. We're worried.
I mean, I'm just
Total
thinking. I just want to optimize my dryad for this. Whatever the heck we're doing next.
Right. Speaking of,
Underdark.
Lev, go ahead and fill the party in on your conversation that occurred immediately after you woke up.
Right. Let me get my script, because as you said, I have a life. So Lev will explain. You remember when we spoke with the king, in Cabot Pool here, right?
For those of you who missed that adventure, the party, the king came to Cabot Pool to install the new baron, and the party was able to speak with the king briefly and have stories.
Well, during that time, I rubbed shoulders with a couple of people, and I made friends with one of the king's advisors. And this advisor friend of mine actually resides in the big city that we need to go to. And I'd have informed you of this upon arrival in the city, of course, had I been alive, but I was a little preoccupied with being dead. But it may be useful for all of you to know that the next time we do go to the city, we should head pretty much straight there for assistance, future revivals, possibly. And he specifically requested that we come have tea with him as well.
So, if you had shared that with us before you died, then we wouldn't have come all the way back here. I'm just saying.
Wait,
So fun.
there wouldn't be a guy in our tavern missing a leg right now.
He's not happy about that, by the way.
Well, that's true. I know. I'm sorry. Like I probably should have informed you of this before we even got on the ship.
You think? Maybe?
You know, I'll own up to it. That was my bad. There's no excuse.
Brandon, I don't see any loss of efficiency here, really.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not the end of the world.
honestly, it's more of an inconvenience to me than to you because I've got to
Yeah.
spend time making
Right.
scrolls of teleport for all of you again, and then I've got to make another one to get us all back there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I'll do that work. I'm happy
So
doing that work.
so now that I'm reminded of Marvin, I think I'm gonna the punishment to this dryad or this druid that tried to rob us is that he has to talk to Marvin until Marvin reveals his true name. And they just have to stay in a room in the tavern and talk.
That's pretty brutal. That's
Oh my God. We'll come back and find the druid hanging from his own robe rope or whatever, robe belt.
All right, the druid is being punished. What else you guys gonna do while the druid is being tortured?
The guards, I want to try the nice approach first and basically pay them off a bit and tell them they never saw us. There was just an accident or whatever in the city. If they ever go back there, don't mention it.
They agree. They are currently headed south, wherever south is, because it's not near you or the city state, and they're afraid for their very lives. They're
Okay.
appropriately afraid. They, like, at the mention of, you mentioned the concept of them leaving and going somewhere else, and they're super okay with leaving.
Okay, but I want to give them a little bit of money just to take care of, because it wasn't their fault that they happened.
Okay.
Well, kind of, it was their fault for associating with somebody nefarious, but I'm not going to spend time going over Ethics 101 with them.
We could just hire them to work at the tavern.
That's guards for the tavern. I don't know. Maybe they got a couple of other skills or something. I'm getting ahead. I wonder how the paperwork for Tim is coming along for the city wall and other soldiers vanishing, which they could replace the soldiers that vanished. They could get a good job.
Well, when it gives us an in, and obviously they're not afraid to get their hands a little dirty and play in the gray. So if we need something, we know who we can talk to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the accountant, but the accountant can give them some coin from my purse, and I have no problem with making friends with them.
We got leverage on them. Yeah.
As for the druid, he can sit in a room and go to hell. I don't care.
Why are we angry with the druid?
Because he tried to rob us, and more importantly than that, insulted all of our intelligence. I mean, he literally was looking at magical creatures, and he was like, "You guys will not be smart enough to know that this happened because we all haven't reincarnated before."
By the way, Froderick does treat his wound, his leg, as best he can, unless the druid can do better. And all I'm going to do to the druid is just pat his head very gently and just smile at him and just kind of nod and just walk off. Mic drop, not say a damn thing.
Okay. Shorty the Druid, as he is now known,
Or Eileen.
after his
Stumpy.
experience with Marvin, is barely able to comprehend languages. He may possibly enter into a life of solitude at this point in the forest.
Not a bad idea. Otherwise, the other limbs could come off, and his new name is Art.
Don't you need him to reincarnate your asses the next time you die?
No,
He's a
the
third level druid who was
the
trying to screw
druid
you
from the
over.
city, not our druid.
The guy that you captured is he's a third level druid who rolled a 3 on his figuring out whether or not he could screw you guys over. He was like, "Oh, I got these guys." Basically, I rolled to see if he was smart enough to know that this was a bad idea, and he was not.
Yeah.
2 guards are super happy to work for the city, because this city seems a lot less cruel and heartless than the city-state. And with basically them mentioning that they were sent to the city by you, they're hired pretty quickly to work at for the city itself.
Yeah.
They're definitely in need of guards still because Tim hasn't found the ones that he removed. Speaking of Tim, he's now spending more time than usual inside the city, the Baron's keep. Apparently, he seems to have accidentally gotten a bit of a job there.
Job at where?
Pretty cool.
At the keep, he's doing work for the Baron himself.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, but now he's kind of trapped inside the keep, doing paperwork and helping with swords. The new Ministry of Magic, basically.
is this part of a new arrangement, basically, because of the, infrastructure disappearing the way it did?
Yeah, well, the city has been growing. They're actually pushing and requesting new positions within the city. And Tim highly recommends you guys drop on by the Baron sometime when you're done with all the craziness. He knows you're busy, all that stuff. But he's like, it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, because God forbid we just drop by the Baron's house right now to like have tea and walk into a complete disaster.
Well, that would never happen. You guys get to go take vacations and enjoy yourselves all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
I feel like if Victor had been involved in the development of Skyrim or Morrowind, the shops would have been a much different experience. Like you'd go into barter and you'd end up in hell.
Dude, I'm addicted to that game right now.
Just
Dude, this nice safe city and sell some shit. No, you won't.
I like how it likes to trap you all the time, just like Victor.
You're not entirely wrong on any of that. So yeah, I have to agree.
It's all payback, I know.
Yeah, Suzanne, which version of Skyrim are you playing?
I bought the Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
Take a bio break.
That
Okay.
was my spring. That was after COVID. That was before COVID gift for myself, and then I got COVID, so that was kind of good.
Oh, okay. Well, there's probably a cure disease potion you found in the game or something like that. But the Elder
Always
Scrolls,
have that.
Elder Scrolls, does that include all the older versions of the game, like Daggerfall and Oblivion, and
No, it came out in 2011.
that's Skyrim? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I didn't have the older stuff.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I'm addicted to that too.
I did read the article that they have a new one for PlayStation 5
Oh.
coming out 2022 to 2023. They haven't decided yet, but yeah, I'm excited to see what graphics look like. Because I really loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I love all their graphics, and Skyrim's so dark.
It's snowy and cold. That's what I like about it is the exposure rules. Like, especially there's one called Frost. I can't remember what it is, but basically it makes a more, you can adjust it, a more realistic, like being caught out in the cold, like in a blizzard, and you don't have enough clothing on and no fire, and you start freezing to death. It simulates hypothermia really well. And then
Yeah.
part of you start falling off and stuff. Anyway, wait, that's leprosy. Anyway.
Indeed. All right, so you guys have you're back in relative action. You've got the info from Lev that it should be safe for you to go back to the city state.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'm still going in disguise.
Which guys? Just
Blotchet
guys or
will
bad
be
guys?
invisible.
No, I'm gonna look like a very tall human.
There you go. And
Maybe push it down to 7 feet or something like that. Too crazy. Anyway, I get my pizza. I can hear you.
you're fine. You have Carlos, who can definitely get you a shot back, which is good. So yeah, with some relative ease, you can teleport back once Love gets a scroll ready. I think I heard.
Yeah, I'll need to prepare a scroll to teleport us, and I will also want to prepare scrolls for any person capable of using scrolls who does not have one.
I don't know. Can horses use scrolls?
If they're clerics, yeah.
Okay, so cleric horses can use scrolls. Okay, cool.
Cleric horses can use scrolls. I'm pretty sure the ability to use scroll is dependent on class, not race.
Oh, so they're classist.
Wouldn't that be
Yes, they're
species?
classist. They're classist and not
Species?
racist. Just so it's like America.
Who's a horse?
Okay, that makes more sense.
Well, LJ's a horseman.
He is a horse, of course, unless of course the horse is Mr. Ed. All right. It will take you a bit to get those scrolls sorted out. First and foremost, you have to get used to holding a pen rather differently. So actually, the first scroll takes most of the day just to figure out how to get them written again. After that, however, you are able to get some work done, which is good. How many people will be able? How many people do not have a teleport scroll who would want one? Good question, I guess.
Let me double check with LJ.
Sorry, Vic. How many people do not have what?
Teleport scroll.
Budget didn't have one. I used the last one.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah, Garlos will need one.
Okay, that's two.
Scroll me, please.
It's three. I think we're just waiting on Joel because I know Frederick can use scrolls.
Yeah, I've got a teleport scroll.
Okay, then three.
Wait a minute. Let's
Four
see.
for the teleporting back to the city.
Wait a minute. Because we teleported out of the dungeon, but then you made new ones. Okay. And this last teleport, we just used. Whose teleport scroll did we use on this getting out of city state? Principal Overlord.
I don't remember.
I think LJ.
LJ.
Oh,
Okay.
was it? Okay,
Still got mine.
then I'll need to make four for the party and one extra for the teleporting back to the city.
All right. You finish that process, and the party is able to gather around Gorlos. Gorlos, you have some understanding of the concepts of magic, so you're able to create a teleport back to the Green Goblin Inn.
Yep. It's actually not far from the magic shop that we want to go to that has ingredients for sale. Yeah, Sorcerer's Supply on Regal Street.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually across the street from Regal Street, or from the Green Goblin Inn.
Like Regal Street crosses Dead Broke Street.
Well, that's how things go around here. All right, the um, With a shattering of space and time, the party is teleported to the back room of the Green Goblin Inn. The 6 of you arrive, and I have this correct. Okay.
Should be 7 of us, right?
That's actually what I was just checking.
There's
It's
been
7. You're right. It's 7. I'm not good at that. The 7 of you teleport into the room. Tables fly. People shout. Swords are drawn. Because you have just interrupted a card game of unusual magnitude. Carlos, you are the one who actually knows what's going on. What do you do first?
We use diplomacy. Calm down, lads. Just popping in for a visit.
Go and give me a roll on diplomacy, Carlos.
Okay.
How about we buy a round of drinks for the house, the disruption.
It's going to be 16 plus. Good. Let's see. 21.
All right, Carlos is able to calm them down pretty quickly with the promise of a round of drinks. It's partly the fact that good diplomacy roll. You're telling them that you'll buy them some drinks, and the fact that yes, they're mad and angry, but there's also a very large human, a centaur, and several otherworldly creatures just appeared here.
Yeah, dryads are a protected species.
As we leave, I'm just like, yeah, I know.
The bar is definitely in disarray by the time you guys actually get out of the back room and into the bar itself and try to make your way out. There's as many people leaving as there are coming in, trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
It would certainly have nothing to do with us.
Do you know the guy that Lev is talking about that we have to go see? Have you ever heard of this guy? Victor, has Garros ever heard of this guy?
Yes, he has heard of him. It's one of the viziers to the king. The circles in which Garlos has heard of him are different from the ones in which Lev has heard of him.
Well, we should head that way then, since we're supposed to go see him first. Yes?
There you go. So all right, so you guys arrived at Regal Street, and I can't remember whether or not my mic is on at any given time.
I'd say let's go to the source of supply before anything happens and get what we need first.
Good idea. And I see a cleric club too. That's kind of fun looking. Cleric club.
What supplies do we actually need?
Wasn't it demon blood or something like that?
It was the
Demon blood?
We do
Carlos,
need
would you
demon
know
blood.
if you can just buy fucking demon blood here?
Yeah, if they have it in stock, it'll be on one of the back shelves. A little on the
Okay.
pricey side, but sometimes they've got it.
You're in the big city now,
Say again, Zach.
I said, you're in the big city now, Liv.
Yeah.
This is frightfully true. All right, yes, you guys are at the you're able to walk out and go to the sorcerer supply without much interference. In Regal Street, you see the population here is quite a bit more fancy. You see lords and ladies walking around, some obvious holy men here and there. The about well over just about half the people on this street and the next one over, Silver Street, are walking around with a retinue of guards, at least one or two in their back. Very few people just wander around. Very few people of means just wander around. You do see several goblins, humans wearing just a tunic and some sort of brand on their bodies in some way, moving back and forth and obviously running errands or what have you. You get to the Sorcerer Supply House. It's huge, bold letters in 5 languages. They are obviously very proud to have the name that they do. Inside, a very wide, heavy man with a small mustache sits around, and he sits in the kind of in the back center of the room, and around are several men in robes. Obviously the wizardry type person, and there are also a couple of you see a couple of goblins fetching and working on potions or picking things up for customers.
They're like the cute goblins from Ogloff.
Yes, as a matter of fact, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so you guys are going to come in, and who's going to lead the conversation? In the back, the large, heavyset gentleman says, "Welcome, welcome. Are you generous, loving, important guests? Obviously from far lands and beautiful locations. Very good to see you all here."
Before we walk in the chat, I typed what
I saw it.
Okay, all right, never mind. Got it. Cool.
Carlos will wave at the big men and say, "Ah, come on, you know me. I'm from around here."
That's why they don't trust you.
He smiles widely at that and definitely spots you. Ah, my good man Carlos, welcome back. Did not know that you'd returned to the city-state to bless us with your time.
Carlos says, "You know me, popping about." Depends on how warm the climate is.
I speak up really quickly and put my head up and go, my needs are very few. I just need to know if you have some sort of ring or maybe bracelets or some jewelry or some effect that might, I don't know, help me from getting hit by things.
The gentleman says, "Oh, I'm sorry, maybe you misunderstood. We are the supply house. We supply sorcerers. We supply the magical arts. Anything here that you see is more than apt and able to assist you in the magic that one would do." You look around, and the building is full of jars, boxes, crates, glass containers, some of which show talons, gizzards, livers, horns, other monstrous parts. Stretched out upon the back of the shop is an entire wing of a small white dragon. Yeah. It, yeah, and so so yeah, they have and that's in the main area just behind him. He points to one of his assistants to show you around the shop.
So I have no interest of anything here, and I have no interest in wizards. I'll be waiting outside. Thank you.
Lev has severe interest of everything here.
Bash will go look
Well,
at
then,
the
yeah,
dressing
Zach,
room.
this was not the cleric supply shop. I guess that's why.
The Clerks Club's around the corner.
Don't go running off alone. It's not really all that safe. Garlos will Howland direct him to whatever supplies they've got of demon blood, looking for basically the best stuff that they've got in the way of ingredients.
Type 4 or Type 5 demon.
All right. The assistant, since you obviously don't know what they sell, the assistant comes over, says, "Good afternoon. My name is Minerva," and he shows you the back wall where they have just different monstrous parts. Over on the right, we have different manuals, books, scrolls in all different tongues. And then over on the left, on the south wall, there are many different minerals, whether you're looking for gold, alabaster, white ox shell, we have it all. And then in the back room, he points to the room back in this area. So we know where we are. He points in the room back in this area. They have entire monsters, cadavers. They have entire cadavers of monsters as well. Regardless, you specifically ask for demon blood. He he nods and says, "I will have to."
Special order that.
Yeah, I'll have to look and make sure that we have some available.
I'll check with our distributors.
I will be back in a moment. I'll be back in just a moment. And he goes back to talk to the shop owner. Another assistant actually comes over and with a small goblin right behind and says, "Is there anything that I can do for you, gentlemen?"
Lev is interested in their selection of scrolls.
Okay. The scrolls that they have are they have vellum scrolls, parchment, nothing less than parchment. But they have both vellum and parchment in pure, ready to use form, and then they also have some scrolls that are in different languages and maps, tales, and discussions about monsters. It's basically not a library, but bits and pieces of curios and curiosities
Okay.
from yeah, so it's not like magical scrolls. They do not have magical scrolls. This is
Yeah.
literally a supply shop.
Yeah. This is the warehouse, not the mechanic
Yes.
shop.
Yes, this is the place where people go to
Would they have anything with information on creatures native to the Underdark?
Not people,
Beholder.
magic users. I just want to be clear.
correct, not people, just magic users.
Something like the big one, the big names, even like not just Trow, but beholders, mind flayers, and other little shits.
They do actually have the gentleman assisting you brings you over to some tomes. Actually, yeah, they do have something that might be of use to you. Garlos, about that time, the initial assistant comes over and brings you back towards the heavy-set gentleman in the back. He introduces himself as Althebris. No, you know him. You know Althebris. Althebris leans forward and says, "We don't tend to deal with that type of stuff over the table, because the king has kind of a line on those things. But I do have some."
Carlos will let him know that it's for clearing helping to clear a magical blight.
Okay.
And it's actually going for decent purpose, not anything horrific.
All right. They can get you 2 vials for 3,000 gold pieces, and it's a set. It's 2 vials of blood for 3,000 gold pieces. They can't sell you just 1 vial.
Do they know what type it's from?
It is believed to be a type 2 demon.
Okay, that should be decent enough then.
What?
What do you need the demon blood for? Someone remind me.
To
It's
cure the
It's for Ben.
the tree
It's for Ben.
mash.
It's for the dryad. Your dryad needs demon blood.
For
To
his
cure a
archetype.
tree.
Honestly, the price sounds right, and he is a reputable dealer. I'd say to go for it. Type 2 should work fine.
Okay. Do you have the cash in your inventory, or do you want me to spring on the accountant side?
You can use whatever I have. I know I have some. I imagine it's easily 3,000.
There's an ATM around the corner.
I am the ATM.
Also, I want to ask the assistant how much that dragon wing goes for, or how much they would pay for another one.
We know where a set of those are. They're bigger, I'm sure. Wonder how much they're worth.
Let's see.
And loves the assistant. Give me a sense motive check, please.
Okay. Let me get to his sheet.
Ben, Minerva, the assistant helping you guys. Actually, I guess no, Minerva's helping them. The one helping you guys is Aelil. Aelil tells you that the dragon wing is obscenely expensive. It's not something that the average adventurer or merchant would purchase. I don't believe our master would let it go for more than 5,000 pieces of gold.
Chat,
For
Victor.
less than 5,000 pieces of gold. I see it. Thank you. Minerva is basically kind of holding back. You're pretty sure. Something about you're not sure 100% why. Maybe it's the fact that you're a pixie. But he basically seems to be giving you just the bare minimum of documentation. That he basically has. There is a book, and looking at it, he's like, "This is the best we've got. This is all that I know of."
Okay. What race is she?
The assistants are all human. There is a homunculus in the back, but
Okay. Then
that doesn't.
she's probably only going to know common and maybe draconic.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try speaking to her in Draconic. I'll just ask her in Draconic. Do you speak Draconic?
No, the Minerva does not.
Okay. Alas.
Alas and
Um,
alack.
then Lev will just try and get a bit closer to your ear and speak a little quietly, and he'll butter up the charisma.
Go and give me a diplomacy check, please.
Sure.
Ben,
And just try and say, I know you're holding out a little bit on me, but look at my companions, darling. We're on a mission here.
okay. When Bash asks about how much they would pay for one, the assistant Alil is like dumbstruck. He's like, I have no idea. I'm like, you'd have to talk to the boss. That's crazy talk. I mean, who
22.
could get dragon wings?
Regardless, he says,
Bash will just kind of smile at him and be like, "Okay."
"Who knew it? At least one set is."
22 on
Bash
diplomacy.
actually, sorry.
You're good.
Bash will actually just kind of whisper over to the assistant, let your boss know that we can acquire dragon parts possibly if the price is right.
Okay.
You're making us
Just about
dragon.
any dragon part.
You're making us dragon hunters now.
Dragon schlongs. He's like, well,
I've been a dragon hunter. It's not a bad gig.
it's not the worst.
Will the dragon eat you?
Minerva points, and Minerva basically says that to Lev that the best place to get more information, like what you're asking for, would be an actual library. We don't have a full library ourselves. We just have odds and ends, and we don't do that sort of stuff. But if you are, serious about this sort of adventure, then yeah, you could go to one of the royal libraries and totally get what you're looking for, whatever that crazy stuff is.
Okay. Of course, you can always check the library for this sort of information, but I do like to check the little odds and ends too for things they might miss, of course.
And Bash, are you gonna actually take up Alil's offer and go talk to the shopkeeper?
I'm just gonna let them know to let them know that, hey, if they seriously want some dragon parts, there is a strong possibility that if the price is right, we can get them. But we're kind of busy right now.
Okay.
Like, I don't know that we have time without consulting the rest of the party for a full sit down.
All right. It's appreciated. The guys like that would be. I mean, that sounds crazy that you guys would just go and grab some dragon parts, but we could definitely make it worth your while. He seems kind of dubious that a dryad's talking about going around slaying dragons, regardless of how big the giant sword on your back might be.
I would just look at him and be like, everything is not always what it seems. You should know that.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do here? You have a book, Lev. The book itself that they have is 190 gold pieces, but they will sell it to you.
Okay, done.
I might have something here, Vic. Some of this stuff would be like found in general supplies, but if they happen to have it here,
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat.
Go for it.
And oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it's all in there. And one of these I know we're not. At least one or two of these we're not going to find it here. Yeah, two of them I know, but this is what Broderick's been working on before we go into the Underdark. That I would suggest getting some silk rope, grappling hook, They probably have Smoke Stick and Tender Twig and Thunderstone, I would think, maybe.
And
Some
this
oil.
shop isn't going to have those.
Okay.
Actually, they would have the Thunderstone and Smokestick.
Tender Twig? Or is that a general supply, like general survival supply store?
No, yeah, they would have this Tinder Twig as well.
Okay, all right, good.
They don't have any. They don't have that type of rope or grappling hook or spyglass though.
That's fine.
For that, they recommend W.H. Smith's.
Yeah, the adventurers supply shops.
Yeah.
They're around here.
I'm just putting that out there that I'm looking for that. So
All right,
Good,
you will
they got
definitely
3 of those
find
things.
those for the appropriate cost in the player's handbook.
yeah, no problem. Let me pull that up.
Of humans.
Roughly, how many do they have of each?
This shop they have 2 smoke twigs, 2 smoke sticks, 2 tinder twigs, and 1 thunderstone. They don't have a lot here.
Oh, that's more than adequate. No, that's great. And so it's 2 smoke sticks, 2 tinder twigs, and 1 thunderstone.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Sounds like a riddle we're giving back and forth.
Well, it is a little bit, I guess. With
There's a little.
what the hell? I enable editing. Okay, there we go.
All right. What do you guys want to do from here?
I want to ask Blodgett if, well, that's right. I was just, before we exit, if I can discreetly just, the party knows that we're being followed, not
Yeah,
surprised.
I saw that. I saw that.
Okay, all right. Blodgett's on.
Also, there's one last thing that I'd like to check on here, Victor. There's spell components. I'd like to look into some of their more expensive stuff and see if it's anything that may come in handy. Anything such as diamonds. Diamonds actually come to mind first, but any other, you know,
They have
unusual
both
spell
diamonds
components.
and the more unusual diamond dust. They also have some of the more unusual objects, like you would have they don't have anything. No, actually, they do. They do have a couple of angel feathers, and they do have some undead components. Anything that you would look for when you're talking about undead, and then also, since you're on that line of thought, you see a bit of hand waving back and forth, and one of the assistants informs you that they do have golem kits as well.
Oh, and we already have
If you were
Marvin, so
If you were to make an iron, wood, or steel, sorry, an iron, clay, or flesh golem, they have the kits necessary to create one. Minus the book. They don't have the tome.
Battery's not included.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with Marvin's already sentient.
Marvin's not a golem, he is a construct. There's a slight difference.
That's true. You're right. Okay.
You want to bring things to life?
All golem. Look, I just think it's cool, okay? Victor put this information out there. I'm saying it's cool.
That is cool.
I'll be right back.
All golems are constructs, but not all constructs are golems. It's like frogs and toads.
If we were to have a badger golem,
Weird, but okay.
What if we made a golem and then let Marvin like control the golem? He just ride on the golem and tell it what to do. I don't know that we can trust Marvin with his own golem, but I'm just saying it is a thought.
well, not very well, not very far. He would probably cause the golem to self-destruct from depression.
Well, I mean, for all we know, he might know where there's another ship that he can just go blow up. I mean, who knows?
That, and speaking of which, does this shop carry lithium? I don't know. Here, let me go refill my drink. Excuse me, gentlemen and ladies.
What do we want to go for next? Any other supplies we need to get? I think we're supposed to go visit that one politician dude, Vizier or whatever he is.
Is there a library here?
I know there's some
There
places that have
certainly,
books.
there
Yeah.
certainly is a library,
You
but
can read.
I did tell the guy to put the kettle on.
Well, I feel like Lev can read. Lev might want to go to the library.
Well, we're all invited to that advisor's
Lev,
tea party, right?
Lev agrees
We
that
should-
while going to the library sounds very nice, it is something that can wait, and we do have someone waiting on us.
Oh, is he actually waiting?
Yeah.
Like he's like,
I did
or-
tell
oh,
him that we were back in town.
oh, okay,
Told him
okay.
to have someone put the kettle on.
And besides, an interaction with him might steer our directions as to what we do next in the town.
It could be important, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
go visit him and then we'll go from there.
In the meantime, Master Garlos, if you know of a good, this is a relative term, good thieves guild or something like that, that we could get some masterwork tools for Blodgett, I think that would be very helpful in the Underdark because the traps are likely to be more dangerous and lethal.
Well, there is a thieves guild here.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. If you can think of a way to arrange it, this is your town. You know it. It's like I'm a native Dallasite. I know what parts of town things happen in.
I know where the Thieves Guild is in Dallas.
I would say, you know where the Thieves Guild is in Dallas? Really?
I
They're called spy shops.
That's a good
spy
one.
shop. There are a couple of spy shops in Dallas, as
You're right. I've actually been in those before, and they were interesting to peruse.
Yes, and they have interesting things that help you when you want to get a raise.
Yeah. The only thing is, every time I visit one, I find myself being followed by a goblin.
Well, Vic, we're going to want to visit the Vizier, but also Carlos is going to need to steer them to somewhere where they can get a decent set of thieves' tools purchased. He would know where this is because he's got some decent tools himself.
Exactly.
He knows some decent tools as well.
Solid truth.
Tools all over the place. Not all of them are decent, though.
Although, sorry, Suzanne, I didn't mean to imply that you're anything less than totally professional, but when I was reading through the supply list, I was like, hey, I wonder if Blodgett would benefit from that. So just
Of course, Blodgett would benefit for that. Of course.
cool, excellent. All right.
Carlos wouldn't. He's actually a terrible thief. He hasn't found anything worth stealing yet.
Well, at least you don't have much of an alignment issue with it.
Well, first of all, you have to define theft in a manner that he can understand.
That's what I mean. You're about the most variable alignment, I would say.
Is chaotic neutral.
All right. So, in pursuit of the rest of your shopping list, Carlos is going to lead you guys down to Whaling Street and Caravan. The corner of those two is going to be you guys are going to come down south. To Regal, hang a right over to Caravan Street. And basically, this area sells everything from it's basically there's a potter, there's insect shop, goldsmith, jewelers, carpenters, and between those several different shops, you're able to find you're basically a bazaar of shops in that region. And there you will be able to find the silk rope, the grappling hook, spyglass. Garlus, you happen to know that the potter sells thieves' tools, but in order to buy them, you have to ask for an open-ended pot, and they don't sell they don't sell them above board. That you have to say, oh hey, I need an open-ended pot.
It's like buying a sawed-off shotgun.
It's actually very similar to going, and this is the way it used to be when you would buy. So to smoke marijuana in a bong, you would have these little screens. And in order to get the screens, you would go to a smoke shop, and you couldn't buy the screens. They won't sell you screens because that's a drug paraphernalia, and they couldn't sell drug paraphernalia. So you would buy a book of matches, and the guy would pick up one of the screens and put it in the book of matches, and then sell you the book of matches. Yeah, that was an actual thing. My friend Conroy was like, it was a very weird experience to buy drug screens. I was like, okay. I found this information out sideways, but I found it out nonetheless.
Actually, speaking of thieves' tools, I actually bought a set out of a place you would not guess where I got these from. I ordered them from Sears. I shit you not. I've actually got about 4 or 5 sets. Here, hold on.
I was actually just going to tell you that information. So the rest of the stuff on your list is going to be findable at 1.5 times the player's handbook price, but they are all of good quality.
Just kidding. Excellent.
Important piece of information I needed to find out. Blodgett, are you going to be following the goblin in question? You're muted, sorry.
Yes, and I'm going to be looking for a place to buy those tools
Okay.
at the same time, but I'll be following the goblin.
Well, okay, the two are somewhat exclusive. I mean, keeping an eye on the goblin means that you're not keeping an eye
Then
on
I will
shopping.
keep an eye on the goblin right now.
Okay, okay.
Lev will also
And
take
fortunately
the,
for you, both.
Are we supposed to go be visiting a guy?
Well, you
Yeah.
get some shopping done first, but yes.
that was kind of while you were away, Victor. That was agreed to be our next course of action.
Okay, Blodgett, give me a search check, please.
Lev would also like to stay at the back of the party and search for the goblin.
Well, Blodgett sees the goblin. He's
okay.
He's got an eye on the goblin. You don't actually, so it'd be
48.
Jesus.
Fucking
How?
I have a plus 20 and I rolled a 20.
Holy shit!
I'm sorry, I got 40, not 48.
Okay, I thought you said, yeah. I was like, God.
20
how-
and 20 now. 40.
Wow, Jesus.
Fucking rogues.
Here to tell you.
You can see into his soul and that of his
Basically, yes.
ancestors.
Put all my points in like 5 things, guys.
I mean, yeah, that works. Blodgett, you are basically also the fact that you're invisible means that the goblin has zero idea that you're right behind him, and you're able to see everything he's doing. He follows the party for a while, and doesn't, is not able to avoid you or avoid you guys. But when the party passes by the city jail, he slows back and steps inside, and you see him talking to one of the city guards. You would not recognize him. So no, you don't recognize him. But after seeing him and seeing what the city guard looks like, you now know what he looks like if you see him again. Are you going to try to get in, follow, or what are you doing?
Is he actually going in?
No, he's stopped letting the party continue on, and he's talking to the city guard.
I'm just kind of hanging around, watching him and listening to what he's talking about.
All right, you're able to hear. He's telling the guard where you guys came from, that you went to the sorcerer shop, and what happened at the inn. The guard asks him if the druid was spotted, at which point he says no. And then the guard asks about any of the other people from the druidic temple. He shakes his head no to that as well. Then the guard says, all right, that's it. The goblin asks the guard if he can, he's basically like, hey, get some coin. He makes a move with his hand for some coin. The guard hands him a single copper, at which point the goblin seems pretty pissed off. And when he looks at the guard for more, the guard threatens to backhand him and the goblin runs off. After that point, the party is not followed.
Can I chase after the goblin?
Yeah. Oh, very easily.
Okay, I'm going to chase after him, and I'm going to become visible when I get closer to him and out of sight of that guard. And I'm going to tell him, I'll give you 5 gold if you'll tell me why he was wanting you to chase us or follow us.
Yeah, we have an informant now.
That we don't slap without.
No, I said, and then my party might
So
compensate
the
you even
goblin,
more.
you're able to catch the goblin in about this area. And
Where, Vic? I can't see your. I'm
The
sorry.
little red
the
circle.
little red
Oh,
circle.
my bad. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you catch him. He basically runs around behind the shieldmaker's shop and into a little back alley there. At which point there's not anyone else around, and you're able to turn visible for a moment and ask him. He's in pretty much abject fear and distrust of you when you come visible.
I just tell him that my party will handsomely provide compensation with any information you can give us on why you were following us.
Give me a diplomacy roll. He does not look like he trusts you at all.
5 gold in the open palm might help.
Well, yeah, I've got it in my hand. I actually threw 5 gold pieces at him. I've got a 19.
All right. With the addition of actual money and your smooth talking skills, you're able to write his. You're basically able to give him a reset on the diplomacy and the initial presentation. He warms up to you. He tells you that there's been a bounty on finding out what happened to the centaur and the centaur and the dryad and the rest of the humans who came to the city after they disappeared. The guards were basically like, we don't need them. We don't want to like track them down. You're not wanted, but it was basically like, hey, we want to know what the fuck happened to these guys and where they're from. Sorry.
All they gotta do is ask us.
Sure.
That is a thought.
That's a
Well,
crazy
just gonna
thought.
talk to the guard.
Who does the guard work for? Do you know who put the bounty on us?
The druid seems to be important to them.
No, he says there's not. It was basically just it's not a. I see what you're saying. they basically the city guards wanted to know who you guys were. That's all he knows about.
So we're just like a
Okay.
PIR for the guards somewhere, some bulletin or box to check that they need to
Mhm.
know about. That's all.
Well, that just means I need to have a conversation with the city guard. But I will
That
need
would
more
go
friends.
Blodgett the Rogue talking to the city guard. I want to see this so bad.
That's why I said I need friends. I need to bring back friends.
I would guess the way to approach it would be, well, it's their job. They're hired by the
But I
overlord.
want to know who they're hired by.
Well, ultimately it goes to the overlord, right?
Oh, thank you,
I
John.
mean, because
Not
the overlord,
necessarily. Maybe they're talking to an evil person that's cheap, that's got ill will toward us.
Well, or legitimately, they're just curious. They realized that the druid disappeared at the same time we showed up, and then suddenly disappeared, and they're just kind of like, we want to know what happened.
yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Like either one could be a thing.
So then use a sense motive check in talking to them and just see what their reaction is.
Yeah, the sense motive for the goblin is fear at this point. I mean, he's got some level of
I'm not going to hold him up. If he's got to go someplace, he can go. I've got all the information I need from him.
he just wants to go somewhere safer where people aren't invisibly appearing out of nowhere.
I noticed the Undertaker is just 2 doors down.
That's actually where he's.
Hey, maybe suggest to the goblin that if he hears anything about us, we would definitely pay for that information.
Well, I did tell him that already, that we would
Okay,
pay
awesome.
handsomely for any
Just as a
information he
departing
has.
thing.
Oh,
Just
so
as a
you're
departing
telling me you
thing.
want any more information? So
Yeah, if he has any more information, I tell him where we're staying. Do I know that?
Oh, maybe don't tell him where we're staying. Just
Maybe
or it's the Green Goblin Inn is where you came in.
I
Yeah,
mean, he
so
can't
that's-
miss
Okay.
us.
That's
We
where
have a
we'll be.
centaur with us.
Look
Yeah.
for us there. Yeah.
yeah,
Centaur.
You guys are
we're kind of
not
distinctive.
hidden. You're
Yeah.
not a hidden group of people.
Yeah, probably. I'm surprised a quarter of the town probably doesn't already know we're here, if not half.
I'm sure they all know we're here.
I think we're gonna have to talk to them sooner or later. It'd probably look better if we went to them and just said something.
Well, let's find out like what Lev's friend knows. Maybe he knows someone.
Yeah,
Is
that,
it
Yeah,
other-
that's a good idea.
generally I never approach the constables, not unless I want to buy something from them.
Okay. Well, let's talk to your advisor friend and ask him to ask a friend of his to talk to their boss, basically, and clear it up.
Yeah,
about that.
my friend does indeed have friends.
Your friend doesn't what?
My friend does indeed have friends.
Oh, okay. In that
As
case,
a matter
yeah,
of fact,
that's a way to.
just as a fun little side note, after our little adventure last time, the guards were headed straight for the ship. But he, with his assistance, that problem was solved more quietly than it otherwise would have been.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. Do I have to pay you 5 gold now?
Just take me back to Cabot Pool next time first.
Okay.
And you also have Blodgett. I think someone bought the thieves' tools for you, whether it was John or Joel.
I will. I'll do it.
Okay, yeah. So Frederick bought some thieves' tools for you. I wanted to make sure you knew that.
Thank you.
Well, we make a good team, Master Blodgett.
I
Alright,
will
you
make
get
good
back to
use
the-
of these.
You get back to the rest of the party. You guys are.
If it keeps us, will prevent us getting hit by poison gas and boulders. Anyway.
It couldn't hurt much.
Not that I don't love your poison gas and boulders, Victor. Just saying.
Aw, thank
Your
you.
giant chocolate salty balls.
When you put it that way. All right. Okay. So you guys are then headed up to the. Are you guys headed up to the castle from here?
I vote yes.
Yes. Unless there's nays.
Well, Garlos guides you up through Regal Street. Best ways. Hold on 1 second. Let me double check. No. Okay, yeah. All right. Garlos guides you up to the Summer Palace, which is the location that Lev was told to come by and have some tea.
Earl Grey, hot.
Um,
Garbage water.
that's my name. Don't wear it out.
No, that's what tea is, particularly British tea, according to Ted Lasso, or I'm sorry, Coach Ted Lasso.
Speaking of tea, I'm
The
gonna go get some
coach.
sweet tea.
Sweet garbage water. Sweet garbage water.
What kind of tea a dryad would drink?
Okay, you guys go up Square of the Gods, over to Crossroad, through to Oxcart. Come on, and then my mouse leaves, and then all the way over to Twilight Road. A sizable amount of more guards than people overall are on Twilight Road. About this area, you basically are there are guards keeping an eye out every 20 or 30 feet for sure. You arrive at the Summer Palace, and one of the guards, there's two guards standing at the door itself. They look you up and down, and one of them nods and gives you greetings and says, "Please follow me." He leads you inside. Inside the Summer Palace, it's a sizable number of attendants scurrying to and fro. It's very much the kind of place that you would go and look upon and see. It's like just freaking gorgeous. Quite a few courtesans and other people are wandering about. It is not currently summer, so this Summer Palace, is not hugely habitated. It's just a few people here and there. The advisor that Lev spoke to previously is a very tall, thin, gaunt-looking man with a pair of unusual spectacles, red-rimmed spectacles. When the party comes in, he sees and nods to Sir Blodgett, Sir Frederick. Looks at Lev a little oddly, but nods as well. Says, "Greetings, Sir Holden."
And Love will greet him in turn and say, "Well, I did warn you the aftermath would take some getting used to."
And he says, I completely agree. And he looks at for the Christ, for the life of me, I cannot remember your character's name, Zag.
Blas.
Blas, thank you, Jesus. Some days. He looks at Blas, and it's a rather, odd look. Says, I do and don't believe we've met, Master Cleric. Oh, okay, cool. And of note is the fact that he looks at Blodgett and nods, but does not greet the invisible rogue. And he passes his gaze over
Interesting.
Garlos.
Have I met him
And,
before?
says,
Do I remember meeting him?
You have, but it's been a million, and you look very different, all things considered. He looks at you and Garlos and says, I have definitely not met either of you before. Would you, Master Love, can you introduce your companions?
Of course. Lev will gesture to Garlos and say, "This is Garlos. He has recently fallen in with our ragtag group of adventurers, and he's fitting in quite nicely. And this is Zag. He is a cleric who is Blas. My bad. You've got a gamer name.
Yeah.
Sorry, meta slip.
Yeah, Metaslip.
Because life is a game.
This is Blas. Oh, nice. I don't. I have a suspicion that you may have met, or at least seen each other.
I believe we have met before. I was a
sorry.
much different person back then,
Oh,
before I died.
You know what? Weren't we all?
And I glare at Lev.
Well, I'm okay. Meta.
Carlos bows and
just
says,
trying to
honored to meet
refresh.
you.
I'm just trying to refresh his memory. I believe you may
And you
have
as well.
greeted
As well.
when you and I first met, but I don't recall if you had the chance to properly introduce yourselves.
All right, he definitely recognizes the name Blas, but takes a moment to catch and realize that you're the same cleric who left all those days back in the Havoc Pool.
That's right. That's right. Because I've seen the light. But the evil of magic users.
Broderick politely inquires as to the name of the of our host and his title.
Sir,
Sir,
type it in.
spell that, or just put it in chat, maybe. Thank you.
Hey, Frederick, if you die again, will you be Frederick thrice dead?
I'm planning not to do that, but yeah, twice dead, thrice shy. Surgan. Oh, Advisor Surgan. You will not be alarmed if I drop my. You no doubt already know my guys.
Yes, Master Frederick, I do recognize you.
Okay, very well. Is there too many other people in the room, or can I safely assume my null form again?
There's no one who is not a guard or a vassal, a slave.
Maybe I'll keep it up for right now. Just keep rumors from spreading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I know that he knows what I am because he gets spot Blodgett.
Right.
You don't know me. You don't know me.
The slaves and courtesans are bringing in food, cups, large carafes of tea, and ale. Actually, no, I guess it'd be tea and wine.
Does he have a pixie-sized chair? Like, how's Lev's seating arrangement going?
You sit on
And,
my
and
lap.
LJ's for that matter.
Lev and LJ's seating arrangements are going about the same.
I'm sure I have a branch you can sit on, or you can just sit on LJ.
Yeah, sit on my lap. Whatever.
Right?
I think a branch would actually look really good for a pixie. I think I'll do that.
That would be cool looking. I want to. Froderick wants to take a selfie with you guys.
Can I at least have a tiny cup?
That they do have. They do have a very small cup.
Awesome.
All right, so then we'll get you. You've got your tiny cup. You've got your. And basically, they lay out a large blanket for LJ to kneel down upon.
It'll work. Do it Japanese style.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Guardians of the Galaxy look like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, it's basically they've got enough for everybody to sit down and be relatively cool. While the courtesans are bringing tea and pouring out to everyone, the advisor Sirigon sits quietly, and a young boy of absolutely no more than 12 years of age comes out and sings a lovely poem about the basically the last several months have been a battle of the city-state of the Invincible Overlord with some of the cities to the north. And the young gentleman comes and sings a poem telling you, and through the lyrics of the poem, you find out that the king has been on a campaign and has successfully vanquished the Kirax to the north. There's basically brought another city under their rule and defended the kingdom, and that the scourge of the drow is like an undertone in the song. It's an unnamed, unsolid worry, but the overall tone of the song is, of course, just very beautiful and holds the king himself in the highest esteem, and that the overlord is basically second only to the gods that oversee his rule. After that, the young boy's song is complete. Motive check successful. Yeah, from what you remember, Frederick, it's unlikely that and Garlos actually would know this as well. It's unlikely that the king did more than defend the kingdom against encroachment or.
It's a bullshit line, basically, for imperialism.
Yeah, it's what we do.
Okay, all right. Just checking.
They don't have state-run television, so they have to have courtesans and singers. That's how this works. The song complete, the tea poured, the food prepared. the advisor Siragon is curious to know if it's true that, and actually at this point, yeah, everything is poured. At this point, the slaves leave. It's just you guys and the 7 guards. And the advisor asks how things have been in Kabakpool, and did you succeed in the fight against the giants that you had all spoken of so many years ago, so many months ago? Feels like years these days.
Does indeed feel like years. The fight against the giants and the state of Kabakpool both go well. Kabakpool especially has been undergoing a bit of a renaissance and is going through some lovely growth. As for the giants, while it is unlikely that we have exterminated every single giant there is in the area, their population has been, well, how do I put this in polite terms?
You just say drastically reduced.
Drastically reduced, yes, thank you. And I don't think that they pose as much of a direct threat to Kabakpool and the area surrounding it as they once did.
We fucking crushed them, dude.
Yes, Frederick personally took out their leader.
However,
no, was not.
we did
was
find
freaking-
out one bit of interesting information that I think may be worth sharing. It was not the giants who took the initiative on this, and perhaps that could have been guessed by their coordination, you know, that giants don't do this sort of thing on their own. But while we were battling the fire giants, we ran into a contingent of drow. We have since learned of several more of these likewise contingents, though we don't know any details exactly of, you know, their locations or who they cohort with. Simply that they exist. And that is what brings us here. If the drow are behind this attack, then the place we must naturally go is to the Underdark to confront them.
Okay, he definitely is asking. He seems to be a pretty good conversationalist. He's asking everyone their own bits and pieces of the story and how things fared.
I don't think we have to go to the Underdark. I'm just following along because my goddess says I have to be here.
Oh my
I think
god!
this is a foolish undertaking that we should never even approach. But here I am. Here I sit.
That would be basically life for you at this point, Blas.
Garlus isn't terribly keen on the Underdark either. He says, I think I'd like to get a bit more powerful before I actually went there.
He seems very appreciative. He nods. He can definitely understand the worry of trying to go to the Underdark in any way, shape, or form. He does, however, encourage you guys. He seems to believe that your group is more than strong enough to succeed, and so he says, he's basically he's at the dregs of his tea, and the pitchers are almost empty at the end of the tilling of the tale and the questions back and forth. At which point he says, "So, will you then be attempting a run at the Necrolithe?"
Is that
We are
Olympic trip?
seriously considering it. It appears to be the next logical step to me. And I fail to see what other step we could take to fully complete the objective we've laid out.
He nods and says, the first step, and he says that this is, the exact path to get to the Necrolith is not set in stone. It's not a thing that exists. There is no definitive way to do this. He says the first and most important piece is to take a prized possession hold on a second, I'm going to do the math on that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Take a dead man's prized possession to the Oracle Lake, to the north of the Troll Fens, and cast it in at midnight, and the Oracle will come to you, and you can then ask how to find the Necrolith. Once you begin this process, it is unwise to tarry away from it. But I believe that you are of strong enough metal to succeed. I believe you can do it.
In other words, don't decide you want to go on a shopping spree at the Dwarf Kingdom again. Once you start in.
Yeah, get the shopping done first.
He definitely laughs at that and says, absolutely agreed. And yes, that is correct.
Someone speaks.
I'm going.
So yes, Joel, you typed it incorrectly in the chat.
Okay,
That's
good.
correct.
Go ahead. Sorry, Zach.
No, it's all right. I'm gonna ask. I mean, it's either Garrulus or our host. I'm looking for a bit of unique magic, not armor, but something that will protect me, that I can adorn my body with. Do you know of any place I might get something like that?
Edible underwear can be found over on Fancy Street.
Indeed. I've already got 2 pair of those.
Just off of Purvey Avenue.
And this is why we don't take Frederick shopping.
But
and
no,
so, yeah,
look
so-
good in black lace.
Blas, you're basically not wearing armor, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I have a male shirt that I'll wear if we get into certain situations, but no.
That'd be funny. A shirt of mail. It's actually a bunch of what do they call that? Third class, the junk mail or whatever, all stapled together.
It could be chainmail.
Yeah, chain letters.
Yeah, chain letters.
The
Yeah, a bunch of
advisor
chain
doesn't have
letters.
anything offhand.
So what does this guy know about the Necrolith, and why do we need it? I mean, I know we need to get to the underworld or underverse or evil place. But what does he mean a dead man's prized possession?
Probably exactly that.
Yeah, I mean it's literally the something that someone prized in life, and it's not necessarily a man. It can be a man or a woman prized in life, um, and you bring it to the Oracle Lake at midnight, throw it in, and the Oracle will come to you. He says, well, the Necrolith is the stone of the dead. It is a path through the lands of dead to the Underdark. Um, he says, I can guarantee you it will allow you to get there and to come back at least once. Unfortunately, you would have to find the Necrolith again in order to get there again.
Okay, so once it gets used back and forth, we have to find it again.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, I know that the Necrolith, the thing that I know about the stone is that it is always somewhere in the city-state.
Is there any particular way to scry or get at least a bead on what direction to find it again? What kind of a signature magically does it put out that you can detect? And that's probably more a question for one of our magic users to ask.
The visor smiles at you and says, perhaps you misunderstand me. The Necrolith is not immediately attainable and by walking around and finding it per se. The process to get the stone exists within the city-state. What that process is, I do not know currently. That is what the Oracle can tell you.
Oh, well, thank you for clarifying.
Mm-hmm.
The park obscene statues? Interesting.
Is there anybody in this town that has taken this journey before and come back? Can you hear me?
No one currently in the town has, no. The last person yeah, no, that's all he knows is no one currently in the town has taken the run at it.
Okay.
Lev will ask, in absence of a first-person perspective of a run at the Necrolith, is there any literature available in the city about what to expect from it?
He says, yes, if you can convince the priests at the Hellbridge Temple to let you look at their library, then possibly you could find something else about it. They're the ones who would know the most about the stone.
Okay. And what can you tell me about this Hellbridge Temple?
It's the kind of place that and actually Garlis knows about it. It is a very, very large temple in the city. and it's not inhabited by the best people.
Their willingness to assist is based mainly on how much money you're giving them at the time.
Oh, that's understandable, I suppose.
They're transactional and not entirely trustworthy.
So just about like everyone else in the city then?
Well, rather uglier than most, but if you just want access to the library, they're at least reasonably trustworthy on that.
So is there some way we can communicate to the prime material plane once we're in the Underdark?
If you had a spell, would be able to do so, yeah.
Okay.
Not our magic item.
And any of the magic users here think of a good spell for something like that? And who we should-
Probably ascending spell.
Ascending? Okay, all right. Because I'm curious, maybe we should have maybe a point person we can talk to in case we get into trouble. Well, we will get into trouble. That's a lot of trouble that we need some outside consultant.
Well, we could probably find someone. The thing about sending is that there's a very small chance that it just doesn't go through planes. So I'd like to clarify with the advisor, is this technically planar travel, or do we remain on the material plane just in a different place?
Good question. Yeah.
It's technically planar.
Okay. Then a good way to mitigate this is to send the message twice, I've found.
Okay. Yep. Since
Yeah,
we don't have
change it up. UPS for one and FedEx for the other.
I was thinking of a bit parity check, CRC. Yeah. Cyclical redundancy check.
And I send an email in Morse. I send an email like just to look pretty, and then I send a telegram in Morse code just to make sure it got there.
I wonder if you can still send telegrams.
I'm sure that there's some way.
I want to.
Can you
badly now.
can you actually still write like telegrams like old style Morse? Or
I'm sure
Telegram.
there's some interactive exhibit that'll at least send a telegram to the other side of the museum.
I'll take it. All right. The people come back to clean up, and the advisor is basically like only talking about pleasantries and the order of the day and how things are going.
So it sounds like the real meeting has ended.
More or less. Servants always listen.
Yeah. Basically, he wanted to know what was going on. We got interrogated. He was happy with the results, and he's willing to assist us, and he's done so. And that's not pleasantries.
Okay, so I guess we can wrap this up and get out of his hair and go see about the both the Hellbridge Temple and the Oracle Lake.
Oh, what a dead man's prized possession, so probably want to hit up the Undertaker for actually to do this.
I actually thought about that.
There's bound to be a family who's willing to part with something for a price.
Well, it could be somebody who's bad.
Don't we have a sword of some type that belonged to somebody who died? I thought.
No, he's still alive.
You have a lot of things that belong to somebody who died.
No, I know, but specifically, we know.
You're talking about the sword we got from the blacksmith, and that
Yeah.
is his prized possession. And he remains alive.
Okay.
That can easily be rectified if somebody wants to teleport me back to the village.
Do I want to take a teleport trip back to
Just
town?
Sure, let's just go straight on evil on this one then. That'll end greatly.
No, that's more like
Well,
straight
no,
up water.
the blacksmith and I have a history. Like, I still have a shield I need to give him at some point.
Bash is like, yeah, all right.
Hello, stab. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, honestly, don't we have like one of those evil tentacled fiendish thingy staffs left over from the draw? Those are probably prized possessions, and we know they're dead.
Ew. But I think what might be better would be the robe. Although I'm hesitant to part with it for lore context to see if we can cross-reference it with anything else.
What's the robe?
The robe is the one that it's the robe worn by one of the priestesses. The notes that I made are it's a robe set with garnet, topaz, opal, and amethyst, 30k GP, and it's related to some god of insanity, as opposed to Lolth, which is what you would expect for a drow.
But here's my thing with that. What happens if we give the Oracle something that is not a prized possession? Like, if we don't know for sure that it's their prized possession, what happens?
We don't know.
At worst, well, at best, probably nothing will happen.
Right, at best we just have to find something else. But at worst, like, does that just totally shit our chances there of?
We could always make it a dead certainty and take one of you buggers that's died and give it one of your prized possessions.
Well, we're alive.
Yeah, we're not currently dead. I already thought about that, but currently we are
Okay.
alive.
I think
Yes,
actually
yes.
going to the Undertaker is a good idea, or maybe off of somebody who was a criminal.
Although, you know what? Bloss is still a lame-ass human, so we could kill him. Sacrifice his most prized possession. Oh, but wait, we'd have to keep going. It's not wise to tarry.
I'd say set up the Undertaker. I mean,
Yeah, that's probably our best option.
honestly, there's bound to be like some peasant who's snuffed it and left a widow and children who would really welcome having a whole bunch of gold, for a prized, possession of some kind that might be like a stick or something. You never know.
It might be a wood flute they'd like to play or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we need to elicit that information as opposed to just barter for it, because I feel like, especially here, we're gonna get screwed if we try to do the, hey, we'll just give you gold for this thing. They're just gonna give us some crap, and it's not gonna be the prized possession. Like, we need to make sure that it is their prized possession.
So it sounds like you want to make sure of the what do they call that, chain of custody, authenticity.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to.
That's where
stop
detect lie
rolling
comes in
on-
handy.
I
Oh,
need
yeah,
I need a
that's true.
certification of authenticity before we take it.
Okay. So we don't do any baseball trading cards on this one.
Right. So, like, if we go talk to the Undertaker about like what the people are being buried with or whatever, and it comes up then okay, that's what we go for. But we don't just ask directly what we want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. By the way, that's an interesting business if you look into the autographed card business for like sports and things like that, or from celebrities. And you have all these companies. There's only two companies, big companies and big players, and there is no way. This article pointed out that every person in there is familiar with everyone's autograph and what it should look like. But to the degree to which they factory mass produce these artifacts or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even if we are approaching people, then as long as they're giving us something unusual that would make sense, we're barking up the right tree.
Okay, sense motive and then a detect lie just to be sure, perhaps.
Yes. Zone of truth.
Zone of truth.
Yep.
Or just give them truth serum, Good old Kentucky bourbon. Speaking of which, I need to beer time.
Beer time.
Beer time.
So we need to find something that belongs to somebody who's dead. They treasure.
Right.
How do we? I think that the Undertaker was probably a good idea, or perhaps asking our friend if he has
Anything that's his favorite possession.
right, exactly. What's your favorite possession, bro?
Yeah. So what's yours? He won't detect a thing. He won't see it coming.
Well, we can show him our favorite possessions and just go. My favorite possession.
Victor, are you actually dungeoneering or are you just masturbating under the table? I think that's what that cape is for.
You found my secret. I'm not a sea captain.
Master, you never been close to a dungeon master's guide in your life, right?
No, I'm afraid not. All right, so Buzzville stew.
So basically, I think I have enough. So I lift up my head after staying very quiet for a long time, and I look at the table. I'm like, we're meant to go to the Underdark. We
At
have
this point, Zag, you guys would be out of the room.
Oh, great.
You're not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you're not doing that while having tea with this dude.
Really? I was going to get really quiet.
Really.
Okay, cool.
It's
Never
not that
mind.
bad. You don't have a silence on that.
Never mind. Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty.
but after tea is over,
I'm pretty stoic, you know.
No, I know. You had a couple of guys in the party are trying to be very stoic about this whole thing. It's kind of funny actually to watch. After the tea with the advisor, he's super chill and he's like, I have literally a king to advise. I got a job to do. So his guys escort you out to the ante room. Basically, you don't have to walk out to this road immediately, but they escort you out to the antechamber while he takes care of his own stuff, and you're able to talk amongst yourselves before you head out if you want to. And at that point, Zag, Voz can do his stuff. So yeah, you guys are talking, trying to figure out your next moves, and then at that point, Blas would pop his head up and say, "We're meant to go."
By the way, Lev, your buddies with this advisor, what about the guard thing? Did that get cleared up in conversation?
I don't think we actually brought it up.
No, you didn't. Yeah, no, not the. If you're talking about the guards who asked about you guys, no, that did not get discussed.
I was gonna say, can we rewind about 15 seconds and
Nope.
take care
But
of
if they're watching us, they know that we went here, and they're not going to give us any trouble from this point forward. I don't think.
Probably.
I think we're under observation because we're a powerful group and they want to make sure of what exactly we're about. That's why they didn't come after us. Probably there was some talk between the higher ups as to, no, don't mess with them. That was just some pogue druid, maybe he did something, got what was coming to him. In the meantime, do keep an eye on them. So, we should watch our step, but in the meantime, it's going to probably be hands off unless we do something really, really blatant or stupid.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
That sounds right up our alley.
Have you met us?
Sounds like something we would do.
I like Daryl's idea of going to the Undertaker and seeing if we can buy something that's dear to somebody.
It's probably the least horrible way of going about it.
Uh-huh.
I'd say we find an impoverished family and make the bequest of their beloved, father something that'll actually help them survive.
As
Well,
long as
we don't have to take it that far. If the Undertaker has a bunch of items that he's burying with people, and he can tell us, oh, it's because of this, and it's their most prized item, and we go through that with a couple, then we're just like, hey, here's a grand or whatever, give us one of these items, and the family never needs to know any different.
Well, just as long as the item wasn't requested to be buried with them, I don't want to disrespect that. That's
Let's say we just buy a bunch of them and throw them all in at once.
When did
One
you
of
get
them's
off?
bound to work. Can you do the shotgun technique? Come on, we can do this.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Baker's dozen, right? 13. Throw them in.
When did you get all lawful?
Hmm. But we juggled them first before putting them in the lake.
Do you get bonuses if there's more than one?
All right, so we're heading to the Undertaker.
That might
Okay.
look funny to some guards. It's like, okay, these guys came into town, they went to the Lizard Lounge, then they went to the magic shop, then they went to the High Advisor, then they went to the Undertaker. No. Nothing suspicious happening here at all. Sounds legit.
All right, so you guys head down Baker's to the.
I think I would be scared if I were a guard.
It sounds like the legit you want to avoid.
Exactly.
You'll pass through the slave market plaza, and at this point, it's in rousing form. It's got it's middle of the day. Definitely several slaves being auctioned off, of all shapes and sizes. And over down by the Undertaker.
By the way, Vic, in the slave market, is some of these people look like they were like maybe in one of these oppressive neighboring cities?
There's quite a few foreigners. Yeah, there's quite a few foreigners in the slave market. That's probably the majority of slaves being auctioned. There are some that are just everyday humans, locals, nondescript, but looking very bedraggled and poor.
Hmm.
The ones fetching the highest price and being sold about a little later in the afternoon because they're being sold about a little later in the afternoon are the ones of exceptional strength, size, or beauty. Those fetch a much higher price.
Hmm.
Do they have any possessions on them?
The slaves got no.
No.
Like what the
Okay.
fuck do you think they are? Like this is a slave market. This isn't
Okay, hear me out. I have an idea. We
Oh,
buy
boy.
the cheapest slave we can find. I will give it a possession, and then we just take care of it from there.
Weren't you a paladin at one time?
That's uniquely disgusting.
That's
that
fucked
is the
up.
straightest path to lawful evil I've ever heard in my life. Like you literally will go straight to lawful evil, no save, nothing. You're just done.
That's like giving Dobby clothes and killing him.
Actually, I was wondering,
Yes.
is it a thing?
That
Can
is
you actually
100% the same process. That is basically
that-
giving Dobby a sock. Dobby is super happy to have the sock, and then you kill Dobby.
Kill Dobby for the
That's
sock.
exactly right, Suzanne. That's where I'm at with that.
And the rest of the party will go straight to neutral evil for abiding it, I would imagine.
100%.
Yeah, just by
You're gonna come
association.
have my party?
Yeah, and
Come to-
yeah, I'm afraid Froderick would be obliged to stop you from doing that.
All right, it was just a thought. It just seemed like an easy solution to our problem.
Actually, my thought was I had a question. Is this I asked Garlos, can we actually buy some slaves and free some of them and get them their papers and then they can.
Whatever you do with them is up to you. I mean, really, the best thing if you're going to free them, take them back to Cabot Pool and get them some work at the city there.
Okay. Well,
maybe
how
put them
about-
up at the inn until they get on their feet.
That's an idea.
I think if you explain things to the bishop, that she might actually lend a bit of a hand with that. She seems to be a bit of a goody two shoes.
Well, don't we have a cleric that's trying to recruit people for his religion? He could also maybe hop in on that.
Yeah, but
Sure, but
I
why
would
don't we
get.
Why don't we do that later? Why don't now we go and find something that belongs to somebody so that
All right, I was just curious. I haven't been in a role playing game where there was slavery, so just thought I'd ask.
Oh yeah, it's been done. There's several settlements outside the city that are populated by ex-slaves who were picked up by people who became, town mayors. They basically created their own towns.
Interesting. Okay.
Some of them are actually well-to-do.
From rags to riches. Okay.
More like rags to lower class to middle class, farm laborers, that sort of thing.
It's actually my dad, frankly.
So, Garrus, I have a question. I'm looking for a temple or an order of my goddess's religion, the Temple of Inanna, INANNA. Have you
Yes, very
one in
much
this
so.
town?
There will be, but it's going to be on the street because they don't have a main temple set up yet.
They have a kiosk.
Yeah.
They have a kiosk.
Yes. The religions all move up and down the road, on the main road
Right.
towards the main courtyard where all the real big temples are. And the closer they get, the more popular it shows as they are. And some come in, move up the street and stay up and eventually get a temple somewhere. Others move up, move back down. Some just wallow around in the middle, and a few start off and then vanish back out the front gate from whence they came.
Great.
Depends on how they recruit.
Well, if you all want to go find, the Undertaker, I'll head out towards the Street of Temples and see if I can find my brethren.
All right, so you're headed to the Undertaker, yes? The
Yes.
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
I see something very interesting. The Temple of the Spider God. I wonder if that might be worth investigating at some point. And then there's the School of Ancient Knowledge just around the corner from it.
Yeah, the school might have a few interesting tips. Not too sure about the Temple of the Spider God. I generally try to stay away from them.
Well, it might be worth at least just peeking in or something like that, or at least looking at the building. But anyway, back to the Undertaker. The Seahawk Tavern. Yeah. Where you can hear many salty tales by under-table masturbators. I discovered me terrible secret. Never been near a burial in my life.
Hmm.
Away!
Is that what he really looks like?
Welcome to the Undertaker. How can I help you today? You look like you're a man who's in need of some pay. That is 100% what he looks like.
Okay, you're not kidding.
I refuse to kid on this one. This is the fucking Undertaker.
It's now canon.
You wanted to go to the Undertaker. You have found the Undertaker.
First Tim and now this.
Yeah, be careful. This guy's got some sick moves.
Strength 30.
He digs the graves by hand.
Literally, yeah. Like one scoop. Hold on. Yeah, my dad. Yeah, thanks.
All right, you meet the Undertaker. There's a couple of his people stand before him.
I'm gonna pull my game right now, Dad.
He doesn't employ any goblins. He has just regular slaves working in the area, and
What the seat
they're
god?
preparing one of
Okay.
the parties in the background.
Okay. Yeah. Right there. Okay.
He greets you. He has a dark, gravelly voice, welcomes you in, says, "Who am I to serve today, good masters?"
We're looking for something.
He cocks his head to one side.
We're looking for a prized possession of one of your clients. The ones that are under the ground.
He kind of
Or on their way there.
ushers you to the side a little bit and steps a little closer to the group of you and says, who in particular are you looking for?
Good question. It's actually what in particular? We're looking for someone who has passed on, who has left behind a prized possession of theirs.
No individual in particular, but the item must be of clear importance to the individual who has passed.
And was not required to be buried with them.
It is obviously more about the item than the person.
He seems to completely comprehend what you're asking. Raises his eyebrows and now really takes a look at the party.
He's probably been asked this before.
He's like, "You're going for that Necrolithe thing, aren't you?"
He said, I don't have to show you pain. You're about to find it for real.
You have come to the Undertaker, but I will not give you pain. You will find it yourselves. I will give you what you seek. Zarius, bring me my robe. Let us do the work.
How much gold do you need?
All right. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have too much fun with this character. He is able to get you. He tells you that yes, for the right price, you can definitely purchase the most prized possession of one of his clients. And he looks at you, his fellow tall human. He's almost as tall as you. As he puffs himself up a little bit to appear as tall as Frederick. And he says, don't worry about it being requested to be buried with him. Trust me when I say the financial benefit to this gentleman's widow will be more than enough to allay her desires for the process of his burial.
Then just tell us the story about the item.
All right. The man you're about to see, he was a fisherman. One of the more prosperous ones on the west side of town. Did a lot of work in the estuary. Also would go into the troll fens to get the good fish. You know what I'm talking about, the really good stuff. Well, the trolls got the best of him, my friend. The trolls, they got the best of him. His buddies came back with his body. They came back with his spear. They came back with his nets. They came back with an armband of Osiris that he has brought with him all these many years. And that armband, my friend, is one of his most prized possessions. And I know that he would like to have it buried with him, but at the same time, I know that his widow would like to be provided for. And those burials do not come cheap.
Nicely done. You got a kind of a groovy Grover thing going on.
Right?
Don't turn the page.
You sound like a Muppet on steroids. But anyway,
Oh my God.
what is that?
So for about he's assessing you. He feels pretty solid in his
Froderick's been dead twice. There is
No,
not much that's going to rock his zen at this point.
right. He's pretty hip. he says, "All right, basically, you guys pay $750. You're essentially setting up the widow of this guy for life, and you get the armband of Osiris that is his prized possession.
The what of Osiris?
It's an armband, a golden arm. It's not gold. It's actually it's gold plated, but you know,
Should have made it a cock ring, but that's okay.
Guys are fishermen.
At least it's not like his goat.
Really, Winter. This is what we're doing today. They're for you. Yeah, they're for you. We got some extra Kit Kats just for you. They're really good. All. Take a couple. So tasty.
They're key lime Kit Kats. I saw that.
Did you?
I got them at Walgreens. It's a piece of
Okay,
You're not
I
supposed to tell them that.
subtracted the gold from my inventory.
All right,
You will take the deal.
good to go. You get the armband.
and a lot of entertainment.
The Undertaker is pleased.
We got entertainment and a deal. That was great.
Froderick just says, you know what? That was painful.
Does anyone want to check this guy's motive before we just leave?
I think he's on the level somehow.
I'm gonna check his motive, but only because we should. I mean, honestly, I'm really just on a ride, but
Go ahead, check his motivation.
I rolled
He really wants to be a wrestler instead of an Undertaker. That's what we sense.
I feel like we're gonna give this to the Oracle. She's just gonna look at us and be like,
Yeah,
It's like we're reaching across and saying, "Look, just give us the shit, okay?" It's like, here's your $750, okay? Thanks.
I've rolled a 24 on sense motive.
Garrulous and LJ, you're able to verify that. Yeah, the guy's on the level. Garrulous, you know personally that he's essentially an honorable dude. I mean, you know the city well enough to know that 750 is not going to his widow, but she's going to get a pretty damn good stipend for the rest of her life. I mean, a single gold piece will last someone in this area and this lifestyle for quite a few years, or quite a few months. Sorry. You give someone like a bag full of gold pieces, they're going to be set for the rest of the year. All right, you have the armband. He has one of his guys. No, he doesn't have one of his. He personally goes and gets it from the dead man's possessions. It's a guy who's soon to be buried. He's in the next room with the pole where they're washing the bodies. And yeah, you guys now have the prized possession of the dead man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cast a detect magic on this thing.
It is not magical.
Okay, great.
Just prized. Now prized by us. Oh wait, we're alive. Shit.
So where do we find this Oracle of Murmur?
It's just the Oracle. You go to Oracle Lake.
Oracle Lake.
It's a little drive on this little.
it's just outside of town.
Yeah, it's always just outside of town. The teenagers make out there. Hit the chase. The guards have to chase them off with torches.
So Oracle headquarters is like right up here, and it's right on the lake. So is that Oracle Lake?
No, that's a typo.
It's under Jira right now because it's Oracle. So it isn't working.
There's my house.
100%.
What does Larry Ellison live there? That dick bag. It is Larry Ellison, isn't it? Who is in charge of Oracle? Yeah.
Why do you think they call it Groaning Falls?
Oh, there's the troll fins. Oh.
Yeah, he wasn't kidding.
Dwarven mines. Dwarven mines and trolls. Okay. That's an interesting combination. I'll bet there's a few bodies still left unburied somewhere.
Probability very high. All
So
right.
if we go at midnight, we need to prepare a bit, perhaps. Just a thought.
It could get mildly entertaining.
Yeah, any protection spells y'all can think of, you might want to ready.
Well, the next question actually is how do you guys plan to get there? Let me pull back a little bit so you can kind of see the scale of
Oh,
what
thanks,
we've
Vic.
got.
Yeah.
You guys are currently inside the city state, way down here. The bar that you teleported into is there. Yep. Right there. So the path to the path to this place, you can go the public route, which is going through the gates. You have to convince the guards to let you through. You guys probably could get through. And then basically take the path down to the lake that way. Or there's the calm and quiet and not so noticeable way of taking the river. Garlos happens to know that's a lot more dangerous, mostly because those are actually troll fens. The Goblin Reservation is a Goblin Reservation. They don't like visitors. They're not like, hey, we're the goblins. They're more like, you fucking humans are gonna die, bitch. You come to my house? You come to my house? Yeah, it's like that. Anyway.
Yeah, since we probably don't want any explosive fireballs right outside of town, I could raise questions.
What if we actually took a boat?
That's what I'm saying. You can take a boat. I mean, you do want to get off before the falls, but you can take a boat.
And then, are these waterfalls right here?
Yeah,
Yep.
that is an actual waterfall. The Groaning Falls or waterfalls.
Okay,
You
and
kind of
what's
want to get off before then.
Yeah, because if we get off to the southwest, then we shouldn't be in the troll fens.
Why don't
Right.
we just ask the guards to let us out, and then we won't have to worry about any of it, right?
Yeah.
Or am I misreading the map?
No, that's good.
Let's just walk. It's
Because
simpler.
I feel like we can just walk through the city and be like, "Hey guys, let us out," and they're gonna be like, "No," and we're gonna be like, "We have a centaur, let us the fuck out." Like that.
He has to
Sorry.
go.
Victor, who has to go?
The centaur. We need to walk the centaur. He has to go.
Yeah.
You really don't want him doing this in the city limits. I swear.
Victor, is that an aqueduct that's going through from Oracle Lake to the town?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, this city has plumbing.
The watchtower, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. The watchtower is inhabited by guards. I'm guessing.
Yes. Yes. Basically, this walk takes you through, the refuse grounds, the city's refuse that is being stored and managed and processed. This whole back area is both the area of the guards, but it is also where the stadium is for entertainment. And then beyond is the aqueduct. Several farms are out back here, and then and then the lake.
Actually, one thing I'm looking at is going to Oracle Lake. Actually, go from the northwest of the city and then north. I see it's skirting the burial grounds. I'm sure we won't have any encounters at midnight there. And then take the stream that runs from Oracle Lake into Cold something. I can't read that. Look closely. Gold Bosom Pool.
Gold bosom pool, like gold chest, gold bosom pool.
Gold Bosom Pool, maybe approaching the Oracle Lake from the west to avoid the trolls and the goblins and so forth. And also, it will also be out of until we get to Oracle Lake, we'll be out of view of the watchtower if I read the terrain correctly. Actually, can Froderick make a geography or survival roll to looking at
give me a
this map?
survival roll. And actually, Garlis, give me a survival roll as well. Hopefully it's better than your last one. You're the fucking best, John. You're the fucking best. Joel?
Carlos is saying, look, the only time I've ever been out that way was just to the tavern outside of town. I don't go near the burial grounds. It's nasty. A lot of bad rumors. Honestly, if we want to go from that angle, let's say we go during the day, make our way to the lake, and then just hang out, hiding until about midnight, and be there, during the daytime. So we don't have to go past that place at night.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we just go past, and even if the guard tower sees us, if we just wave, they're going to be like, okay, whatever. I mean, they're not going to come out of their tower to like tell us to get off the line.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, especially if we're on the northwest edge of it, so we're like across the river. I don't think they're going to be like going after us with that either. It's like we're no longer of interest. We're outside of their area.
I mean, as long as we just act like we know what we're doing, they're just going to be like, whatever. We don't get paid enough for this. Must be some guys doing some cool stuff. No, leave us alone.
Frederick, from the area, the lay of the land, and everything else, you can tell that going around the north side of the lake would be super dangerous, especially at night, because the trolls will be more active, and it will be a fairly dangerous way to exist.
No, I wasn't going to go to the north side. I was talking about going from the northwest side of the city that's like south of the burial grounds, and then making our way like during the day. Okay, go to the pool, and then just follow the little stream and camp in the trees, maybe just north of the watchtower.
Why do you want to go all the way out there?
Because that's where Oracle Lake is.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's have a spring picnic here and just say we're having a picnic. And everyone wants to know what we're doing.
Or just follow the aqueduct. Go under the aqueduct.
Couldn't we just like swing around? There's a whole cusp of trees just to the left of the watchtower.
Can't we just go invisible? I mean, there's two of us that can go invisible.
Why don't we just walk out the gate and take the road as far as it goes, and then walk across the field and up the hill to the lake? I mean, it's like I don't understand who is stopping us. What is the need for stealth here?
Right, just go down the road.
Let's just fucking go.
Okay, all right.
I mean, just my theory. Like, I don't see anybody messing with us too badly. And we have a centaur as long as we stay out of the house.
How long have you been playing with this group?
I mean, look, unless there happens to be a dragon in the lake, I feel like we will be fine.
I seem to remember having a lot of trouble with trolls on a certain level of a dungeon. Just saying.
Well, they're on the other side, though. They're on the other side of the lake. As long as we stay on our side of the lake, theoretically, we should be okay.
Theoretically.
Not to get near them.
Garlos is fairly certain that he can, if you guys go during the day up the road, basically there's not much more than laborers who are going out to the farms out that direction. So it is possible to go up the road and basically hang out over in the trees in that area until nightfall.
Where's the road? Are we talking about on the east side, northeast side of the city?
We're talking about the road that comes straight up the city. So this is a very heavy pair of gates that is fairly well controlled, but it's basically for laborers and people.
And it goes to a pool where the aqueduct ends, and then just follow along the aqueduct or something like that.
No, do not go near the aqueduct. That's how you get a lot more suspicion than you're looking for today. You would basically go up this road and then go through the farm area, this area over here, through the farm area.
Okay.
And then walk over to there.
Why is the aqueduct particularly?
Because it's the aqueduct. They don't want you poisoning it or messing with it.
It's the plumbing of the entire city.
Guarded.
It's a very important piece of infrastructure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did two planes plow into their castles or something like that on September 11th?
That actually happened a couple months ago. It was pretty rough.
Wow, look how insensitive you are. Dude,
God, you're such an asshole.
How many people?
Hey, the Cryptic Citadel is definitely a no-fly zone. Garlos can tell you that, and it's a real thing. You do not fly over the Cryptic Citadel, or you will die.
So we're just going to hang out there on those trees until nightfall?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
I mean, it looks like at this rate, if we start walking now, we're going to get there around nightfall. I mean,
yeah, that sounds about
looks
right.
like a little bit of a...
Are you guys going to do anything before you head out to the lake?
Grab the supplies that I outlined.
I want to buy some holy water.
Holy water and flasks of oil, just in case.
All right, you're able to find holy water and flasks of oil for Actually, yeah, Carlos can get you guys a deal on it and find a reputable vendor at one regular price, 1 times the price.
A reputable vendor of holy water?
Yeah, clerics who don't suck.
Yep.
I'll make my own. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, we can just make our own, right? I think all we need is a sanctify water
And,
spell.
I can still turn undead.
Oh, it's bless water, and we can just prepare that spell.
Holy water has a lot of good uses, man.
Yeah, but you don't want to have to cast the spell in the middle of a fight. Is the whole
Yeah.
reason to get the vials.
Well,
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty much, that's what you're doing. Anyway, you guys get the holy water. You get the oil. You're able to walk over to the lake.
Okay.
I brought marshmallows and graham crackers and chocolate.
Okay, so you brought enough rations. Did you buy enough for everyone?
I brought the holy s'mores of Inanna.
I brought cake.
Okay. I'll bring blueberries and Pop Tarts.
This is why Inanna is so popular. We have
It really
s'mores.
is. All right, you guys are able to get enough stuff and camp out by the lake itself.
Not directly. I would prefer to get some elevation, either in a tree or on a piece of land that's sloping towards the lake. I like elevation because I can see more of what's coming, and it gives you a combat advantage.
I'm just gonna stay on the ground.
Okay, then, or find me a tree that I can climb. Yep. With my grappling hook.
Frederick likes to get up trees and see if there's any cats or anything. So you guys are able to find a copse of trees right here.
Bash
get
will
a
just
view
turn
of the-
into a tree.
Bash turns into a tree. Frederick climbs you.
Yes, he can get my bush if he wants.
Okay, well done, gentlemen. Bravo, well done.
All right. So Frederick, from the vantage point of Bash's bush, you can see the lake pretty well. The lake itself is fairly calm as the sun sets. Give me a spot check, please.
Yeah, I want to use actually want to use my spyglass if I presume I found one, right? Okay. I
You
want to
did.
check.
Give me a spot check with +2 then.
Thank you. That is what I'm looking for.
I will also whisper to the fairy and offer my branches and bush.
21.
So
I'll be a
Lev,
little
you've
bit.
got
I'll be a little bit hesitant on your bush for now, but I will. I will take the branch.
my God.
So I now have a fairy on my branch and Frederick on my bush. This is awesome. It's a well occupied tree.
Yeah,
I
I'm
hate
bashing
you.
your bush. I'm bashing
Ooh.
Bash's bush.
I hate you so much. All right, so
My
Frederick,
spot is 35,
Yeah,
which means I pretty much, if it's
nothing
there, I'll
special.
see it.
Nothing
Yeah.
special for Lev.
okay. Frederick, as you as the sun sets and darkness falls upon the lake, you can see an area of the lake about 40 or 50 feet away from the edge, directly north of you guys. Basically, just below the sea in Oracle, you can see an area there that doesn't seem to move.
Take a closer look with the telescope. And what am I looking at? Like a building that's underground or a spot of water that is very static?
A spot of water that is very static is what that is, yes.
Okay, it's like there's no wave motion or anything like that. Okay. All right. Is it moving?
No, it does not. I mean, no. The
It's
spot of water
is
that
the
is not
spot of
moving does not move.
The spot of water stays where it is. Okay, relative to
Spot of
everything.
water stays where it is.
Okay.
Moon comes out. It is a half moon, waxing gibbous.
Know what that is? 3/4 full, probably.
Yeah, it's actually sorry, I said half moon, but it's actually it's a waxing gibbous 3/4 moon, and it settles upon the sky, laughing madly at you all as midnight approaches. Um, who has these armband, and what are you going to do with it?
I have a water walk spell. I could walk out to
Yeah,
that.
you can do it.
Um, are there any instructions in terms of saying anything, or do we just? I guess we just offer this to the oracle.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, throwing it out there and offering it to the oracle is the thing.
Okay, I'm going to cast a water walk spell on myself,
Okay.
and I'm going to take the prized possession and walk it out to the area that is unmoving and lay it down on that area and make it clear that this is a gift to the spirits of the lake
Okay.
to, with the intention towards finding the Deatholith or Neolith or whatever, Necrolith or thing.
The water bubbles as the armband sits upon the water itself.
I back away slowly and respectfully.
Um, as you back away, a bubbling section of water follows you until you reach the shore. A ghostly form appears and asks in a hollow voice, "Who seeks the stone of the dead?"
Lev will take point and introduce himself.
The vision should actually probably type this in. I don't really want to repeat myself today more than 2 or 3 dozen times.
Okay. 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 Okay.
I can mute you, you know that, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I kill you all. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Sorry, improved evasion.
Sorry, character seeking stone.
Does this look like an actual ghost or like a water nymph? I'm just curious.
It looks more like what you would have heard a ghost appears like, not as much as a water nymph.
I turned undead. Okay. Other phenomena. Phenomena. Do do do.
A phenomenon.
Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena.
Falling. Okay. The ghost says, it's basically the oracle says, from the highest window, look to the lowest man. Look upon the lowest man. Catch a smile from a child and a coin from a beggar. Return with them to this spot before the moon fills, and your work will begin.
What? God, riddles.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rip some kids' lips off. That's all there is to it.
All right.
And the vision fades away. The water itself is completely normal now. The air seems easier to breathe. The wind moves at a more calm and
Before the
joyous
moon
pace.
fills. So okay, so before a full moon, where are we in the moon?
3/4.
3/4.
So we've got about a week.
Less than that, actually. About half a week, I think.
Yeah, half a week, about 2 to 3 days.
From the highest window, look to the lowest man.
Well, turn and look around back at the city and see what the highest window is, the highest building. Look at the obvious first, and then it'll probably be something not as obvious.
The cryptic citadel is the easiest building to spot in the entire city from
Okay.
this point of view.
And the lowest man from there, stadium or
To the refuse grounds, you can have some blokes working out there just to scrounge up stuff to sell for food.
that's right. You'd probably find beggars there as well, and children.
Well, I mean, it might be beneficial to find one of those windows and look out it and see what we see. I mean, not to go with the completely obvious, but
Yeah, I mean, I am a pixie. I can fly to high windows pretty easily too.
You don't want to fly around there. Trust me. I've already told you this.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, it's magically protected.
Oh, yeah. And then some.
Well, he is very small. He's a pixie.
I want to spend the last few yards of that thing just actually, like wall crawling, using your wings to keep you afloat. But, like not leaving the side of the building.
Cast sanctuary on yourself. One thought.
Yeah. But going visibly airborne around it is a no-no. But if you zip in nap of the earth and go up the wall, that might work.
don't Doesn't someone have a ring of invisibility that they could give the pixie and let it just fly up there and take a quick look around?
That's actually a really cool thing about pixies. I don't need that.
Even
Besides,
better.
my ring is bigger than the pixie.
Wear it as a belt.
Yeah, cock
It's a
ring.
belt of invisibility.
But no, if you're gonna do it nap of the earth. Go to the wall and hug the wall as you go up. If you're visibly or even invisibly airborne, I don't think you're going to be coming back.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I can hug the ground and hug the wall.
That'll be for the best. And if it looks like anything bad is about to happen, go right back out the way you came.
So I'd like to go when we go back, I'd like to go to the street where all the temples are set up, see if I can find my peeps. But we might also find some beggars there or some children that we could.
Getting a coin from a beggar is easy. You chuck them a copper and then offer them a gold for it if they'll pitch it back.
Right, totally. That's exactly what I was thinking.
If the beggar's a child, then you just kill two birds with one stone because they'll be grinning when they get gold.
True that. But there's something about from the highest window.
Well, you have to return them, it said, to the spot before the moon fills.
So, is there like a fountain around here with images in it? You know, like a beggar and a small person and maybe a window or. Victor. Oh, he's viewing.
This can be a
Well, basically, do you want to search or do you want to, like, are you asking people?
I'm gonna search.
Oh, that'll take a long time. I just asked girls.
I'm going to.
Okay, then I'll ask girls. Is there
Yeah, I'm
a,
gonna,
a very large fountain around here that fits some of that riddle?
Okay. It's going to be 13 plus 5 is 17. 19.
You know, because Blodge is gonna think the simplest thing.
Bio break.
What does it mean by the lowest man?
Oh, I don't know, because it could be like I was thinking, like there could be statues in the fountain, and then there's a lowest one is a man. Don't know.
Well, and that's why I think we need to find the window area because it might be something that you see from the window.
Right, but maybe
But
we need to find what the window's looking at.
Carlos does know
right,
that
I
there is
agree with you on the
actually
statue
there is
idea.
a smiling child statue in the Park of Obscene Statues.
Oh.
And a cat smile. Catch a smile. Just smile, catch a smile.
Okay, so where are you guys headed to currently?
I think what would be best, maybe for Lev, be to try and find this highest window,
Okay.
and take that advice of, hovering on the ground, not really flying openly, and flying against the wall. I will use I'll activate my greater invisibility for this as well.
Oh, greater invisibility. That's cool.
Yep, I'm a pixie.
So that's greater invisibility is what, like even normal detect invisibility won't pick it up, or has to make
Detect
a save.
invisibility isn't quite a thing. Let me look up greater invis. Oh, the only difference is it doesn't end if I use attacks.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So in another dimension with voyeuristic intention, well secluded, he sees all.
Greater invisibility means not only that other people can't see you, you can't see anything else.
Right. It's great. He's completely invisible to everything, and everything is invisible to him. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Lev has
Right.
effectively blinded himself.
Yeah.
Good job. Lev, you were able to fly up the side of the Cryptic Citadel's walls. The no, yeah, okay. The guards on the tower, as you're coming over the edge of the tower, sorry, the edge of the what's the word, the wall. Thank you, the edge of the parapet. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. One of the guards definitely is looking around, trying to find where the random flutter of wings has come from. But he does not, of course, see you.
I'm going to continue on past him as quickly as possible.
Okay. He starts talking to his companion a little ways away, and their voices are quickly lost behind you as you continue to fly onward. You make it to the citadel itself,
She's in there, so.
a series of towers and other buildings that looks over the city-state. Give me a spot check, please.
Sure. Here's my dice. $22.
Better than average, by a good shot. You see a pair of sturges gliding around in the dark. They appear, yeah, they basically appear to be looking around for, just anything in the air that might be coming through.
Ah, the scourge of the seven seas.
Basically, this is what you're up against.
Well,
You
my
do,
idea-
however, also see a tower that sits above the rest of the others, and does have a small window off to the east side of it.
Okay. My idea was to fly along the ground so that I'm not in the air with anything that may also be in the air. And when I reach the base of whatever I want to go up, then I fly up along the wall.
Okay. You're definitely able to. Well, you're basically having to go over, up and down, and
Yeah,
over
I
buildings.
know.
Is why.
I know.
All right. You're able to, in that process, definitely keep, for the most part, away from the two flying creatures. However, they appear to have caught wind or sound, wind or wing of you. The two sturges start actively flying in, look as if they're flying around or in your area.
I will latch onto the wall,
Mm-hmm.
take a good sniff of it, and cast prestidigitation to attempt to mask my scent and smell like the wall.
Okay, success. They reverse follow your scent away from where you are and towards the outer section of one of the buildings. So they're basically flying away from you at this point.
Okay. I'll give them a moment to get a bit more distance between us, and then continue on.
All right. With that,
I'll
you're able to get
also,
to the. Mhm.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. With that, you're able to get to the tower and to the window itself. You are now standing or flying in front of about a 2-foot oval window, stone window, cut into the side of this tower.
Okay. I assume there's some sort of ledge for this window.
Yes, it's a round. Yeah, it's a round
Okay.
ledge window. Mhm.
I'll perch on the ledge and just survey the area. Try and get a sense of what figures I can see, and what they are, whether they're like actual people or statues, just kind of the lay of the land.
Okay.
By the way, where are the rest of us while he's doing this?
Well, you can be back by the grove of trees, or if you want to be closer and further into the city itself, you let me know if you want to do that, because it's now midnight. There's no one else walking around out here except for a few guards.
We're probably just best waiting.
Okay, all right. Just wondering.
Lev, you're able to see. Give me a spot check, please.
Okay. I'd also like to have Vidra roll one.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Okay. Vidra got 23, and Lev got significantly lower at 12.
V'ger, V'ger looks down at the refuse grounds and says he sees a glint of something down there.
Okay. Lev will have him go check it out.
V'ger's like, "All right, boss, I'm on it."
And following the same idea of, stick close to surfaces. And Lev will also try and mask his scent as best he can for the journey.
Okay, so are the two of you going, or just you're sending V'ger?
You know what? Fuck it. We can both fly. Let's go.
Okay.
I was gonna say, well, you could piss on the wall or something like that.
Right? I mean, I'm like, what are you doing? All right, so the two of you are able to follow the spark of light over to the refuse grounds, at which point there is no need to mask your scent.
Well done, Tinkerbell.
Yeah, you can, at this point, you can smell the area way before you see it. And yeah, there is something that appears to be reflecting light down amongst the piles of trash that you can't quite. It's not easy to make it out unless you're at the same angle that you were at when you were at the cryptic citadel. It is the gleaming anus of Max, John's dog. He has licked it until it is clean. The dog, not John. Although I don't know, anything's possible.
Water.
Okay.
So do you need to get back up there so you can see? Like, you can communicate to your spider or vice versa?
Love's pretty smart. He can probably figure out the angle and everything like that.
Yeah, you have to be about 20 feet in the air in order to get the same angle that you were at from
Okay.
the citadel. But you can see a small glint, something shining. It appears to be lit um, in the refuse grounds down here in the ground, amongst the muck and the dirt.
Lev will use Mage Hand to pick it up from a distance.
What's the distance on Mage Hand?
I believe it's 50 feet, but let me double check.
Don't believe
5
that.
feet. I think it's 5 feet per level or something like that, or 10 feet plus. 5 feet.
25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. So if I'm 20 feet
okay.
in the air, then I should have it.
Okay.
It's a child eclipse.
Right. Um, you use Mage Hand to reach out and grab the small gleaming object. You pull it up and are able to reach your hand around it magically and pull it towards you. And roll for initiative, Lev.
Fuck. Okay.
Leo Oakjug, he went hunting, went to hunt the flying pixie.
I forgot to change my initiative when I changed forms. So 22.
22. Good job. You definitely have higher initiative. The trash that you pulled it off of is coming towards you at very rapid speed.
How big is this area that is moving towards me?
The area of trash that is moving towards you looks to be a good maybe 5-6 feet in diameter.
Oh, okay. Then Lev will fly about 40 feet up and 20 feet off into another direction, like laterally.
Aerial combat. Oh, shit.
Cool.
I've never seen this.
And he'll, I don't know if V'ger is like on him right now or not, but if he's not, he'll warn V'ger, who will also fly.
Well, Pedro can see the giant thing of trash moving, so yeah, he'll do what he needs to do.
So,
The
the
giant
crouch is
trash
after.
gets a 23 and succeeds in grabbing the small gleaming light object. You can now have a tug of war with that and your mage hand. However, your mage hand will lose.
Yeah, 5 pounds. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's his turn,
That is his turn. You're up.
what is the best way to handle this?
Garbage fire cleanses. Start a dumpster fire.
I feel like that might be a bad idea.
Could be. Might ignite the whole bloody refuse grounds.
Victor, would you consider this a single, this mound a single thing, like the mound, or is the mound made up of multiple things?
It looks like it's made up of one thing.
Okay, then I cast Disintegrate.
That's a legitimate thing to do today. All right, you disintegrate the mound. Roll to hit.
Doke.
The
That
mouth's
will
touch
be
AC is 9.
You actually find out it's a kid beggar in a ghillie suit.
attack is 12.
All right, you hit
So
the
I
mouth.
hit.
And
Let's
what's
see
the
here.
DC for your disintegrate spell?
It is 723, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah.
Well, the child rolls a 9. Plus 3, she
Wait,
gets a total of 12. And so when someone fails a disintegrate spell, that they automatically just turn to dust. Is that right?
No, they take 2d6 of damage per caster level.
Okay, cool. Roll damage. I'm kidding about it being a child.
Okay. Fuck. I
You
was
son
like,
of a bitch.
shit. Shit, did I just disintegrate a child?
I said child beggar in a ghillie suit.
I was like, fuck.
He's actually a sniper,
Did
specialized.
I severely misunderstand the layout of this encounter? Like,
Yeah, he was watching that window, by the way. You saw
I have seen worse, by the way.
You saw was the reflection off of his scope lens.
I'm just gonna use an online dice roller because I don't feel like rolling 11d6 twice.
All right.
78.
Asshole.
All right. The Autog turns to dust, and the small light stone falls to the ground.
Wow. Auto is in the refuse grounds. Shit, that's like an EPA violation.
I mean, that's like fucking what normally happens in refuse grounds, bitch.
Yeah, but not anymore. Not this one, anyways.
Yeah. That's mine. And then the Obi-Wan Kenobi response with a lightsaber.
Yeah, maybe it was maybe disintegrate was a little bit overkill.
I think it's funny as hell, actually.
Well, the city will definitely wonder why their garbage is not getting disposed of as quickly as it used to.
Oops.
Whoopee. Let's see.
I have to bring in another OTUG.
You have you're able to use Mage Hand again to pick up the stone, and I assume you return to the party.
Yep.
All right. You guys now have a dully glowing stone. It doesn't seem to get any brighter, no matter how far away or near you are to it. It continues the same level of brightness regardless of how far away you are when you're looking at it.
I thought you used physics in your games. That's not how that works.
I use magic in my games.
It's called metaphysics. Actually, why not bring it back to the lake and let's just go ahead and get this done now before the moon is full. I don't know, just a thought.
It's called hand wavium.
And wavium.
Yeah, that's the chemical element.
What, for like Hogwarts school or something?
Yes,
yeah.
basically, yes.
Magic.
Or a thematic component?
All right, so you guys have the stone. What do you do now?
We've got the stone, so
We still need a smile from a child and a coin from a beggar. Or some semblance or simile thereof.
Maybe
I
stone
guess
can catch a smile. Maybe it can. Maybe it's like a memory stone.
oh my god, this hurts my head.
Riddles, riddles. Let's
I'm
do this like
tempted-
Batman style.
I'm tempted to think that the stone is the coin from the beggar. Because
You know, it's moments like these that remind me that Winter's right, that you cannot make things dumb enough.
no, you really can't. We would fuck up the round peg, round hole thing for this D&D game. Okay, Victor's response tells me I'm barking up the wrong tree here, and I should not conflate, trash and being dirty with the beggar. It's not a metaphor.
I say we make a kid happy, get a beggar to toss us a coin. We toss him a copper and offer him a gold for it, and then we go back and see if that works. If it doesn't, well, we still got another day or two.
We'll also
Yeah.
see what the child's
That's
reaction to the stone is.
Blodgett wants to know if there's a gallery, an art gallery around here that might have children smiling where you can catch a smile.
Or
Closest thing to an art gallery that Carlos would know of is the sculpture garden.
Okay.
Yep.
and there is that statue of the smiling child.
Just don't want to know why it's smiling.
Or do any of you guys know how to draw? Maybe we can catch,
another
the semblance.
another idea. We could make a child smile, and I could one of us could prepare some sort of minor illusion. Frederick, I know you've got a minor illusion spell that you've cast before.
That's right.
You can
Dance
make
of Lights or Silent Image.
Silent image. That might work, and you could make the image of that child.
Why can't we have we checked the statue, the garden yet?
No, we haven't.
See if there's, because we should probably go check that while it's dark and there's nobody there, because where are we gonna find a child right now? I mean, also like hop in its bedroom and you guys are like, boom.
Like legitimately find a child at this time of night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet we could go down to the docks and find a homeless kid. I'm a pixie. I can flutter around and put on my sweet voice, and the child will
we find out
smile.
we're
Trust
fighting
me.
Captain Hook.
Believe me, guys.
And there's an alligator in the moat.
But like, I think there might be something to this statue thing, and it would probably take us 5 minutes to go look at the statue and see if we notice anything unusual about it.
Okay, let's look at the statue.
You could talk about it for another 30 minutes, and that's far more fun.
No, Bastion and I will go.
We're going.
Well, Victor, that was my first lesson in a D&D game. Was holy shit! It takes 45 minutes to open a freaking door in this game.
Because y'all overanalyze everything.
Are you talking about the kind flare encounter?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Absolutely, the kind flare encounter. That was one of many.
That's probably one of my top 10 moments.
It was one of my faves. So Blodgett and Bash are heading over to the garden of obscene statues.
Lev will come along as well, and LJ.
Okay.
Yeah, let's all go to the statue garden. Yeah, Frederick's going along.
I think we're just going as a party at this point.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's get this over with.
Maybe it's the Park of Obscene Statues.
Yes, it is the Park of Obscene Statues.
Like I said, you don't want to know that child's smiling.
Oh.
We're just looking to solve the riddle. We're not going to think about what they're doing or what, right?
Look,
no judging.
Master Garrulus, what is this statue of Milkman Dan refer to? And then there's this little girl named Karen next to him. Looks like she's about to hit him with something.
Yeah, she's totally not smiling.
Yeah. I fucking hate you, Milkman Dan.
All right, you guys. It's the middle of the night, so a little more difficult to find your way around this place. So give me a search check to see if you can, as you're wandering through this place. Regardless, you've never actually been to see this statue, you've just heard about it. Nothing you've heard about it is good, but you've heard about it.
Victor, I'm going to say it.
20.
I'm going to say it.
Say it.
I have dark vision.
So do I.
You can
Me
see
too.
dark statues.
20 on spot or search, whatever I rolled for.
Spotify? Okay.
Spotify. Found some music. James Brown. It's a check. Decipher language.
We're doing search? Is
We're
that
doing
correct or
search.
spot? Okay.
Doing search.
Lev's is 24 and LJ's is 17.
All right. You guys are looking through when you hear your cleric um, give a start.
Oh,
Followed by retching noises.
Blas, you see one of the most ugly cherubs you've ever considered the possibility of existing, with an obscene grin as he pleasures himself over a fountain of butts.
Over a fountain of what?
Butts.
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 What? Like rear ends, asses?
Yeah, it's butts.
Great.
It's butts.
Okay. Sweet. And do I notice this because it's somehow, I mean, the smiling child, perhaps?
Yeah, this is the when everybody turns, Garlus knows this is the smiling child in question.
Like personally?
catch the smile.
And so I wonder if perhaps we can remove the face from the fountain.
I don't think that's the idea. I don't
You
think.
you can do the illusion spell. Other than that, we can just take a bit of the dirt there, press it around the smile, so that we catch an image of the smile in the dirt. Just basically form a mold of it. You think this is what we want?
That'll work.
Child.
It models a smile. Like a
Silent
photograph.
image might work. Another possibility if we need like an actual physical thing.
Hey, can we get our thief over here to maybe check this out? See if there's anything special about this?
I'd be happy to check.
That would be great.
Yeah,
What am I
Feature's gonna
checking?
pop off with a detect magic too.
Like, just look at this like smiling child statue and see if there's anything special about it. Like,
Probably a search check.
27.
All right. Blodgett, you're able to see that there's where the child's lips purse, there's a small indent. Like not a hole, but just an indentation in the center of the lips of this statue.
Like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for clarifying it's not a hole.
Right. Here to help.
I'm going to put my hand there. I'm going to put my finger there.
Nothing happens.
What shape is it?
Round.
Is it shaped like the stone that I have?
Ooh.
When you compare the two, the answer is yes.
oh,
There you go.
Okay, I'll fly up and put the stone there.
Okay. The light of the stone goes out. The stone itself falls back into your hand.
You caught it.
Ah,
Ghostbuster style.
Yes.
Yeah, you caught it all right. He's going to need to go to the free clinic next.
and what's the beggar? Garrus, what in this town is the beggar?
There's hordes of them. But,
any notable ones?
There's an actual street, Beggar Street.
That's
Mhm.
Beggar Street.
there are any notable statues of beggars?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Well, I guess Beggar Street is our first lead.
Head down to Beggar Street. It's the middle of the night, so we probably won't get swarmed immediately.
Well, they'll be awake.
All right. From there, you're able to head across the Plaza of Profuse Pleasure, down Hedonist Street, and the Puppet Shop, which is next to, I might say, the Fetish Shop, the Torture Shop, Feed a Slave, Glutton and Gore, the Fear Shop, and the Flush Shop. So you end up at Beggar Street.
I'm assuming that everything on that street is open currently and active.
It is actually still, yes, very open.
Okay.
Yes, welcome to the French Tickler Quarter.
Now they have magical neon lights.
You can do that if you, semi-precious stones and a congeal light spell, you've got it knocked.
You don't see very many. You see a few guards out here and there, but they get a little more as you get closer to Beggar Street. Once you turn the corner onto Beggar Street, there's very few guards and a whole lot of beggars.
Hmm.
The majority of them are asleep. Well, actually, no, the ones that are asleep you can't see. There's probably a couple of handfuls along the entire street. When they see a party of people walking towards them, they look as if they're eyeing you fairly thoroughly. A couple start edging towards you and ask for alms.
Well, here's our chance to get our money's worth, literally.
What are you guys gonna do?
Carlos is going to chuck some coppers to them.
Roderick's gonna stay on alert, check around us, behind and up above, just in case.
Okay. You guys, as the coppers are flying through the air, the beggars begin flying towards you.
Oh,
I
what?
mean, not literally, but within the span of less than a minute, you have each of you has a couple of people pulling at your robes, asking for coin.
Oh, now look what you've done.
Frederick casts dancing lights
Pigeons.
to dazzle a little bit and get some distance without using any actual force.
That definitely succeeds. They stand back as a group. Yeah, you guys definitely have some space.
Girls, how about you take point on this and just tell
Okay.
them what the deal is.
Carlos holds up a gold and says, "So you don't want to chuck me a copper for this gold?"
I'd say it's a fair trade.
An old woman stands up, walks over to Garlos and hands him a copper, and holds her hand out.
He drops the gold in her hand and says, "You're the winner tonight, love."
She smiles and fades away.
It fades away.
Oh.
You mean like
I suggest we go. How about we go back to Oracle late and get this done with while we can.
Sounds good to me.
And also cover our. You want
Well,
to go north?
that's the most productive we've ever been as a party? Right there.
Yeah. Well, we're not using our weapons. It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, when we were on Pleasure Street, Bash really wanted to ask if anybody could do anything for a tree, but I knew we were busy.
You want
You
to
know,
pick
it only took us an hour to figure that one out.
I mean,
You want-
besides, when the sun's up, he'll have morning wood for sure.
but oh, you stole it from me. God. Damn it.
Are you trying to say Garlos took your morning wood?
No, he took my joke, but yes. That's true.
All right, let's get this done because it's 10 o'clock. So
All right. You guys go to the edge of the lake. And the entire lake appears to be just solids, like unmoving. The moon is beginning to consider the possibilities of setting to the north, and the lake itself looks just like a sheet of pale glass in the moonlight. You guys approach, and What do you guys want to do?
Lev introduced himself, so I will ask for the stone and the copper, and I will approach the lake, and if nothing comes from my standing at the
comes.
shores, okay, then I'll gently dip them in the water.
So, okay. They sit on the top of the water for a moment, and they both, the stone and the coin, begin to float towards the center of the lake.
Okay.
Give me a spot check. Yeah, from your vantage point, all of you.
Spot check is holy shit.
Probably so.
15,
All right, you guys can see that the
29.
there is a very
2.
solid looking path along
13.
the lake. There's a solid looking path along the lake towards the center of it.
Let's follow it. I'll take point if you guys want.
Okay.
Sure.
Broderick, as you're
Sure.
walking, you're walking all the water. I mean, it looks like water, but it's smooth as glass, and it feels like glass. You are definitely walking along water itself. It doesn't even feel wet upon your shoes.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Do, do, do.
LJ is going to be extremely skeptical, but he will try it as well.
All right.
Show to me that you know fake. Walk across Oracle Lake.
And the winner is. All right. You guys are able to.
Sure you're not a bard?
Look
He's
at it.
pretended to be sometimes, but it never turned out well.
And with this outfit, I'm definitely Herod today.
Hey,
All
Victor,
right, you
so
guys are able to walk to the center of the lake. And upon arriving at the center of the lake, you look around yourselves, and it appears that you are now at the bottom of the lake. Above you, you can see the top of the lake. Below you, you can see the the ground, the lake bed itself, the scrags swimming around above you, and there is a fairly sized doorway, about a good 30 feet tall, about 15 feet wide.
Oh my.
In the doorway, in front of the doorway, appears a very slight, thin, wayfish elf, female elf. And she says, "Greetings, travelers." She has a resigned look to her face as she greets you and says, "Greetings. Welcome to the Necrolithe.
She's done this every night.
I am Elisar Morphane, and it is my duty to greet you and welcome you. Speak, each of you, if you intend to take the Necrolith." What do you guys do?
Lev will pipe up first, I suppose. He'll
He's
say,
very
I do.
pipey. She looks at Lev and looks at the rest of you.
Carlos says, I do believe so, yes.
LJ will follow suit as well.
Okay.
Broderick says, you have my bow. No, I
I
say,
have my tools.
I basically say I follow my colleagues and friends wherever they may go.
And you have my bullshit ability.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, all right.
She says, "You may ask of me one question before you enter. And I am forced to tell you the truth.
Shit.
Good job, Vic. This will take 2 hours.
One of us better ask how we get the hell out of the Underdark, by the way. I'm just
Kill
suggesting.
JFK. Sorry.
What do you guys say?
Clarification, Victor, is it one total question or one question for each of us?
It's one total, I'm pretty
You
sure.
know, that's a question.
He says, "Is that your question?"
No, 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 Victor. No, Victor,
I
that
think-
is not
I
Gleb's question.
that we ask if there is an escape from the.
Ask what is the escape?
Yeah, how do we get back?
I think how do we get back here is the best one.
Back to our normal worlds, our normal
Okay.
world here.
She says the stone, if you succeed here, the stone will carry you to any of the lands of the dead, and it will carry you back.
Okay.
Can you do the whole echo thing again? Because that was really cool.
No, turn your mic on.
Okay.
If you succeed here, the stone will carry you to any of the lands of the dead, and it will carry you back once.
Once.
Pretty much.
Once.
And with that, the doors open, and the elf fades away.
Broderick just puts his hand on his hammer and says, "Let's go."
And when we meet next, we will be at the Necrolithe.
I think I left something.
Necrolithe. Welcome to the Necrolithe. You have entered the way of pain. You have come to face the Undertaker.
It's okay. They'll be serving necro wafers.
Next week it'll be WWW.
Don't turn the page.
Y'all have a good night.
Okay.
You do.
And I blood. Zeus.
Good night, guys. Thank you so much. This was a
Okay.
great session.
Yeah, this was a good one. It was refreshingly different.
This was too much fun.
No one got killed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no one.
Audio did kind of fail its saving throw pretty badly, but it's basically a non-sentient Oscar the Grouch. So,
All right. Good night, guys.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
okay, good night.
Let's see if they survive.